no stranger to drifting, no stranger to competition.
That guy stole my freaking ratchet wrench. I see that. That's mine. I love four-wheeler drift.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Clipping Point. This is Captain Ben, and joining me, I have Mr.
Yes, Tim Murphy and his brother
Paul Murphy.
Wait, hang on. I got a thing going on.
What?
Hang on.
You do? Okay.
Yeah,
What
don't
kind of
worry
thing?
about it.
What thing?
Yeah, I'll show you afterwards.
Oh,
But there goes Paul Murphy right there.
You're gonna
Oh,
Yeah, there he
show
is.
us your thing afterwards.
oh, what's? I don't want to see the thing.
Okay. All right. So before we get started, actually, our special guest is running a little behind, so we're going to move on to some other things.
Just
And,
fashionably late. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, we
You
can
wouldn't-
relate. We can relate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
But I do wanted to mention that there's still 11 spots available left for the Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series to Season 3 taking place at the Freedom Factory. So if any drivers are still debating or on the fence about joining, it is your opportunity still is available.
You know what? He may be an avid watcher and knows that we're always like 30 minutes late and just is assuming that we're going to be 30 minutes late.
Or he is an hour behind us.
Oh,
Right.
When we clarify the east,
I put EDT.
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
EDT?
Okay. EDT. You know, Eastern Daylight Time.
Eastern Daylight Time. I never heard EST, Eastern Standard Time, but I
Right.
never heard
But
EDT.
he's more correct because we are in daylight time.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Freaking guy.
So yes, so as you what 11 more spots? He said
11 more spots.
for what?
For the Klutch Kickers $100,000
60.
For
Season 3.
of the Klutch Kickers
Right.
$100,000 Drift Series.
Correct.
My chance. What? Hanging out with Steve-O makes me want to
You got
change
to
my
step your
voice.
game up. Yeah.
I do, but
He's definitely got that radio announcer
oh,
voice.
he does. He's got a great voice. I'm just like,
Yeah.
man,
He's
yeah.
got to
I
speak
was
with.
Jealous.
You got to enunciate.
I got to enunciate. I got to talk a little slower, and maybe I'll come up with a different voice.
You got to come. Yeah.
You
There
think
you
I
go.
should?
Announcer voice.
You think
yeah.
I should?
I don't know.
No, I was talking to Ben. He said, no, that's just too fake.
Yeah, you have to do something. You got to talk to him. How do you do this?
Now he practiced his voice.
That's
but
what I'm
he's been doing
saying.
it for so long. Oh,
Yeah.
we're getting off topic here. So go ahead. Klutch Kickers.
That's fine.
Only 11 people left to fill the spots. I'm sure somebody will fill those spots. Maybe somebody's a
But
little
even if
on
they
the
don't,
edge.
they have 69 drivers currently, correct?
69 drivers? No.
That's a nice number.
They do, right? I think
No,
they-
not how could they have 60 spots? They have 11 spots left.
Okay, so
Do the math.
they have 60 spots left. So it's would be 59.
No.
I could've sworn, Ben, you said if they have 60
Do
spots
the
and they have
math.
11 left.
59?
You said
They have
Ben, I'll let
60
Ben go. You
spots.
said they have 60 spots and they have 11 left.
Oh my
to fill.
God.
So
You said-
11 minus 60 will be 49. Sorry,
There we go.
I was stuck on
If I,
60.
if I recall, it's 80 spots total.
80 spots total?
80,
Okay.
80 spots total.
Oh.
And then
Wow, so maybe it is 59.
So yeah, you look like the big jerk now, don't you? See how confident he overconfidences me.
Oh, I
I
I
can
I'm like,
bully
It's
him.
not the
once.
first time.
I
I still remember the 20 feet conversation.
That was right, though. I was right about that
20
one.
foot. What are you talking about?
Yo, because it
What?
it was a rule change in Klutch Kickers. No, it's not a big
Oh,
deal.
okay.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah, so like you're saying, there is 69 spots currently taken with 11 spots available, making a grand total of 80
Correct.
if it fills out. But that's 80 drivers.
Yeah. So, well, let me actually, you know what? Let me just get this
69
other
drivers is a
piece
lot.
of news out of the way, and want to mention that there's hotel accommodations too available. So make sure to go to the Klutch Kickers website. Or if not, if you've been following them on the social media channels, you've probably come across this where they're providing a discount for people that are traveling over to the Freedom Factory area. As you can see here, they get 20% off hotels close to the track, so that's good. Now, I wonder which one of these is going to be the host of the after party.
Oh, yeah.
That's a more important question. But
So, but none of them are by the
Wait,
beach.
those are all the same thing.
really,
Three of them are.
Yeah, actually, yeah, three
right?
of them are. Well, no,
Wait,
they're
no.
not.
Oh, they're all by
Inn,
Hilton.
Homewood Suites,
Uh,
Courtyard, Hampton Inn. So no, they're all different.
they're all by the Hilton though.
Yeah, they're
okay.
probably all. Well, no, one's
And then
Marriott,
Marriott. Yeah.
and then 3 are owned by Hilton. But anyways,
Huh.
go ahead, Ben. Those are the 4 hotels that they have. Do you have rates? Do you know what the rates are? By
You
any chance?
see, Lakewood Rancherie.
Ranch.
Shree.
That's fine.
On the second one.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny.
Yeah, I'm glad you think it's funny.
I think it's hilarious.
I mean, should we click on the
Yeah,
rates?
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess?
Let's take a look.
Let's just do a
How
dive.
luxurious is? Oh wait, one night stand.
Starting tonight.
That's for one night.
Really? Oh, okay.
So that's the thing I've noticed. I've been traveling a lot for work this year, more than I ever have, and I've noticed for some reason in that area, hotels tend to be like almost double the price of most everywhere else I go.
No, they're preparing for Klutch Kickers.
No, it doesn't. It's just in general. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday, a weekday, or what. It's just generally more expensive around that area. Like even compared to Tampa.
Yeah,
See, look.
$271
Yeah.
a night.
Yeah.
That's pretty expensive.
Yeah, I know, and that's the Klutch Kickers
I,
rate.
I would get the. This is the Klutch Kickers rate. Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Right. It says it
Holy cow.
right there.
Yeah.
We're showing their flushes.
I'm telling you, like they're just more
Is
expensive.
that the
around
is that
area.
the whole? Maybe that's
My
the whole
advice
rent.
to anybody that's planning
No
on
prices
going
per
to
change
book,
per.
book your room in advance because the closer you get to the well, I guess
Holy
they
cow.
locked in the rates, so that's good.
Sleep in the car.
Well, do they allow
Don't
camping?
book a room.
At the track?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, so that might be the
I
option.
think that Zach discussed that already.
Yeah, that'd probably be some good option.
Don't take showers.
this
Sleep in
one-
sleep in the
Well,
hotel.
you could. You know what you could do is you could just get a bunch of people to split the hotel, and everybody can go back there and take showers. You know,
Yeah, I
go there,
guess
get cleaned up, take a
What
shower, and
the
come
heck?
back.
Where do you? Oh gosh.
you could just go to a gym
Yeah,
for
let's
that
go
if
back
you
to the
wanted to.
Klutch Kickers. Let's try the Hampton Inn. We're doing this for you guys, just so you guys can.
Yeah, so you
Wait,
guys can
I did
see
that
the
one
rooms.
already.
This is all Hilton. No, you didn't do this one. This is a different one.
Different one. Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
just
all right.
Special rates.
Edit stay. Okay.
20
And we're gonna
29
go
to the second,
There you go.
which I don't know if anybody's going to stay like that, but yeah.
Klutch Kickers rate
Those are a little cheaper.
a little cheaper. Yeah,
Yeah. Nice. It looks nicer
We
looking.
should do a hotel review.
We should.
Forget car reviews.
Yeah,
we should do
yeah,
hotel
yeah.
reviews.
Hotel review.
yes. Probably get more
Ben's-
followers.
Yeah. This bed looks pretty comfy.
It's interesting. Well, so
Right.
there you go. You guys can check out the hotels now. You really should be booking your hotel now, as soon as possible. And like I said, I would just go ahead and reserve your rooms for the rest of the season if you're planning. If you're driving, obviously you want to do that. But what's great about it for us is we don't really have to stay that extra night, right? Because now we're only like 2.5 hours, 3 hours drive away,
It's like
Right.
4 hours. Yeah.
right? So it's not too bad.
Could drive home, yeah.
You could, yeah, you could.
Definitely.
We could drive up early morning, the day
Oh,
of
God.
the first
I don't
event.
know about that.
No,
Don't know
just
about
saying,
that.
could.
Could.
But we don't have to leave in early in the morning on Friday.
Yeah,
and
no.
drive all day.
don't-
We can
don't.
leave Friday afternoon.
That is definitely nicer.
Check in a hotel and
Yeah.
then be up nice and early at the track.
Mhm.
So, what do you think? You think 80 drivers are gonna sign up?
No,
Or-
I don't
but
know.
it's
80
already
drivers
crazy
is a
as
lot.
is with 69.
Right. So I don't think so. I think they'll probably get another like 2 or 3 drivers, maybe a last minute.
Right.
But I don't know. Are we taking bets on this?
You did. You thought it was. He
What?
did. He did think it was 9:30 his time.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
He said, "Sorry, you'll be on in 10 minutes."
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I just sent him that thing. So yeah, I had a feeling
yeah,
because he's still in Florida, right? Because that's how crazy weird about Florida,
right.
especially going to Klutch Kickers because he lives. Does he live in Holt or he lives in Fort
think
Walton Beach?
Destin.
Destin?
The same general
Yeah,
area.
same general area. So he is that 1 hour behind
it's so
us.
weird. It's like you're barely 1 hour behind us. You know.
Exactly.
It's-
So yeah, I messaged him like, hey, just let you know, we just went live. Join when you can. And he's like, oh snap! Oh snap! It's 9:40 your time. Give me 10 minutes. I'll be on. So anyway, no, it's good we got this out of the way though. So you have the hotels, and there are still spots left
Can
open.
you go to this? Like, who's the registered drivers? Or no?
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, let's go over
I
the
want
drivers
to
list.
go over. That'll lead well into when he gets able to be on here.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I do can't forget to mention that tickets are still available for spectators to go out and purchase.
Okay.
Make sure to purchase it ahead of time.
What about the
then-
the live stream? Is that cut off? Is there a cutoff date on that?
Oh, I don't think so. Good question though.
Yeah.
I would probably look in. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah.
But if you can't make it, make sure to check out the Cletus's website. It's gonna be broadcasted on his platform, and it's gonna be FYI if you haven't heard the news by now. Pay-per-view. So make sure to keep that in mind.
Yeah. If you don't know, you know. Now you know. That's
Now
what I
you'll
was
have to
thinking.
now you have to pay to listen to our horrible voices.
So,
We win.
You can always mute it and put something else on, but you're gonna miss all just valuable information. You know, you're gonna miss a lot.
Don't know about that, but okay, cool.
Let's
Zach Calvin.
start at the top. We got
we
Nick
got-
Ward, Ryan Kaufman, Brandon McDowell. Brandon McDowell just took first place at the first round of the U.S. Drift Circuit Pro-Am Series. Brandon Whitnick, Taylor Hall, Brett Collins. Brett Collins was there. Unfortunately, Brett Collins seemed to take himself out of competition. He kind of defeated himself.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He threw too much angle, and it wasn't anything that it wasn't a major correction, but it was it was a major correction. Cause
Oh, really?
think
I didn't see him
from
right.
his run. Yeah, he was doing good. He just kind of took himself out. Ben Julian, Zendara Kennedy, which is a new
interesting.
driver. Lucas Tornell's been out there before.
Yeah,
Kenny Geringer.
Yeah, I think
Has he been there before? I don't think so.
I think so.
Max Giardo.
I think he's new.
I think he's new. Adam
Michael
LZ.
Elsey. Michael Elsey.
Yeah,
There's Adam Elsey right
yeah,
there
Adam
between. I
LZ,
didn't
Michael
see that.
Elsey, Taylor Ray, Josiah Felice, Connor O'Sullivan. Oh, I talked to Connor also.
Yeah.
Dirk Stratton, John Wyndham, and Colt Wyndham. I'm assuming they're brothers.
Maybe.
It's just, I mean, they registered probably close together, so I'm assuming. Bradley St. Germain. I spoke to him as well. Colette Davis is back at it. I wonder if she's going to be in her vet.
I assume
that'd be
so.
nice. I wonder if has she done anything to her? I haven't really.
She would need to do something to it, I would assume, because it was pretty grippy at Klutch Kickers, I can imagine.
So we'll see how that works.
I'm
Brian.
assuming she should do something to it.
Oh, Brad St. No, I already said that. Colette Davis. Jaden Martirana. Oh, I didn't realize he entered the season.
Oh, that's
that's one.
Jay
yeah.
the Drifter, right?
Yeah, I wonder when his birthday is because I know he's 13 now.
He'll always be 13.
He'll
for the
always
rest
be
of his
13.
life.
So
Jake
he did a really
Wise?
good job competing in U.S. Drift Circuit. He gave everybody a run for the money in his Corvette name. Jake Jake Wise?
Yeah, it looks like he's from Texas.
Mm-hmm. Brian Boccia. Am I saying that right?
He's on a G35.
Oh, there you
Interesting.
go. Yeah.
I don't see many.
Boccia?
Huh?
Bakia?
Boccia or
Boccia?
I mean, it depends where he's from.
We gotta check with him.
Yeah, what his nationality is. Rafael
Raphael.
Adamas.
Yeah, that's an Adamas guy. They were saying.
And then George Thomas, Monster Performance.
Ethan
Lee
Hodges.
Yearwood, that was some controversy there this last weekend.
Lee Yearwood's not there, buddy. Ethan
No,
Hodges.
but I'm saying that's his partner.
Whoa, you're going way.
What are you talking about? I'm right there.
Ethan Hodges.
Jackson Orr. Oh.
Jackson Orr. Jackson Orr who? Oh, Jackson Orr.
Yeah.
Jonathan
Nairn.
Nairn. Jonathan Nairn. Good.
Yeah.
Mike Pollard, Nate Hamilton, Alec Hohnadell, which is going to be our guest tonight, Kelsey Rawlings, Eric Conkling, Lee Yearwood, Reese Marin.
Oh, Eric Conkling is going to compete?
Yeah.
That's
well, he
interesting.
competed last season, but he's actually in it for the whole season this time. So Steve Bertstrong, Ryan Acevedo. What they had his name as Samuel.
But he didn't say anything about it.
He
so-
well
Yes, he did. He told us.
Well, he told us. He's like, yeah. He goes. I go by my middle name, and that's his first name.
Oh, Samuel is
His first name. But I mean, I don't know why they put his name. They should have changed that. Like, cause
Correct, but
yeah, whatever. Anyways, Ryan Acevedo, Davey Peoples,
right?
Joseph Love. Joseph
he
Love
was
was out
there-
there in Nairn's car.
Yeah.
Or some people
McFarlane.
said it wasn't actually Nairn's car. It was his practice car or his car that was. They said I don't know. It was weird. I got conflicting reports on that. Cletus McFarlane, Sebastian.
Wait, hang on. Before you move on, I think at this point is the 40 driver cutoff.
Yeah.
Right, because Cletus
So I
is
think-
that's the top. Those top ones are in it for the championship.
Correct.
And
move on.
who's Gathier? I'm gonna have to
Sebastian?
Yeah, I'm about to call him. Make sure I pronounce his name right. And then really?
Yeah, Hurt.
I didn't know Hurt was driving.
Yeah.
Oh, is he going to drive his
He's going to try an
FC?
R32.
No, R32.
Oh yeah, so he is. Look at that.
Josiah Loubier.
That's actually Kevin Lawrence's
R32.
old R32.
the one that he
bought it
competed
from?
with.
He bought it from him? I don't
Or
know.
he's probably
As
just
far as
using
I
it.
know, that was always an Njuku card.
Oh, it is an Njuku card.
That is,
Oh.
yeah, it is a Njuku card.
Oh, interesting.
Matt Schulman. You know, we saw Matt Schulman at the.
He was just testing his car.
was just testing his
Supposedly,
car.
supposedly, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see it run, but I look forward to seeing Matt Schulman. We got to get him on. I think we're supposed to get him on sooner or later, right?
He's in the docket.
He's on the dock. He's on the list. Brian Sturman, new power plant. Love his E30, right? It's like I don't even like watching his channel because then I get all jealous. Then you
Miles
have Miles Flick. Miles Flick. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Right.
I haven't really looked at this list.
Yeah, Miles Flick
Miles
is there.
Flick.
Wasn't he the one that
He-
had a
Cressida.
Cressida?
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
day?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I remember. All right.
Yeah, Miles
Yeah,
Flick.
but a while back.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, definitely.
Gainesville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drove back.
And I can't. Is that
Oh wait, hang on.
what?
Our guest is connecting.
Oh, connecting.
Yeah. So
Okay,
we're
so
gonna
you guys
put a
can-
pause on the list and hang on. Let's just mute him for a moment so that way he gets himself settled. And let me work out some stuff over here. Boom. Right there.
Oh, Duarte's on there. Sean Booth. Oh, Sean Booth's not in for the season. That's Zach
No,
Calvin.
he's-
All right, we're gonna get this. Wait, hang on. Just a moment. There we go. Okay, he's there on that display. All right. Wait, is he? No. Okay, he's off. All
Can
right.
you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
yeah, I got. Oh, we're gonna do it properly. yeah, of course.
Ben's
you
got to
can.
announce you.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got to
right.
introduce
Oh
you.
God,
Or
sorry.
actually, you know what? You're the main guy.
I'm
Go
not
ahead
the
and
main
introduce
guy.
yourself.
You're the main guy.
What are you talking about? People are gonna be listening to your voice.
Oh,
you got to practice for.
Yeah, I'm
when
supposed
he's
to practice. So I got a chance to like live stream with somebody that had a better voice than me. So I'm going to practice my deep voice. Yeah. Everybody, welcome Alec Hohnadell. Hey!
Hello.
All right,
Can
here
y'all
we
see
go.
me?
I had a feeling something was going on because, like, I was like, I wonder if he realizes that we're both in Florida, but that we're actually on the other time side of Florida, right? And then I loved your reply. Oh snap!
Yeah. So it changes, I think, once you get to Tallahassee.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like in between you and Tallahassee. So we're out of Destin, or are you Fort Walton?
We're in Destin.
Oh, you are in Destin. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not in Santa Rosa, California?
No. That's
What?
too expensive over
So
there.
that was my brother's fault.
I didn't say that.
No, you screwed up the whole list
Oh,
that one time, and then like I announced him.
you said he was from Santa Rosa,
because
California.
that's what was next to his name, and
Oh,
then
that's
you
not
see his face like what? Like
Yeah,
what?
you-
I'm not from there.
Yeah, you're from California.
yeah. Well, anyways, thank you for joining us. We're so happy to have you. For those that don't know, Alec Hohnadell is the current champion of Klutch Kickers, and he's going to be going back at it again this year. So, Alec, how's it been in this off season?
Real quick before we get started, I can't see y'all, so is that fine? Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
We can see
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about us. We're good.
Oh man, I wanted to see you.
you. Not much to look at, my friend. Not much to look at.
No, it's been good. It's just, been busy working with my dad, trying to get this damn 350Z going. I had full lot, completely busy the whole off season. It's been tough getting parts.
Yeah.
It won't be ready for round one. Hopefully round two, and then the S14s really just need like a quick refresh, and it should be good. I hope.
Okay.
But we're excited for the new Freedom Factory. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah. So you will be in the 350Z?
Round two.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
So that's 14 round one.
All right, so
Okay.
so you're gonna give people a little taste. I was telling them earlier before we start. I've been calling all the drivers, asking questions, trying to get a little more background on some of the drivers that I haven't really had an opportunity to like interview previously, or just some people I don't really know because they live far away, or we haven't had them on the show. And one of my questions, and I'm gonna ask you this too later on, or you can answer it now if you want. Is there any driver that you look forward to battling against, or a driver that maybe you just have always wanted to drive with? And
That's on
I'll
the
probably,
list.
huh?
That's on the list.
That's one of my questions. And you were probably, I would say, like 70 or 80% of drivers I talked to so far, they all name you, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's very heartwarming.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
some are just like, I want to take them out, and some people are
Yeah.
just like, always.
oh, I know I got the target on my back, but it's okay. Honestly, like I'm excited to drive with everybody. I wouldn't say there's like one driver in particular that I'm just like, that's the one, there's so many different guys with so many different kind of cars and levels. And, as long as we get a good lead run, I'm excited to run with them. Like as far as following, so I mean, I throw down with anybody. So I really don't have any favorites out there. I do think once I bring out the Z, since I did show that it's going to be that like cherry red, I do think having a battle with Brandon McDowell would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I think our cars will look pretty similar. Obviously, he's a good driver. So I think that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, Brandon McDowell actually just took first place at the first round of the
I saw
Pro-Am.
that.
Yeah, and he was killing it. I mean, he's always consistent.
You can't ride that wall much better than he did.
No, that was an FD run right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna start off in the S14, right?
Yeah.
And that's gonna be interesting. Have you ever slid the Freedom Factory?
No, I've only seen videos of it. Never been there. It looks like a lot of fun. I can't tell if that bank's like how steep it is. You know, it doesn't look like super steep, so I think that would be nice for the lower horsepower cars.
Mm-hmm.
The infield, I heard there's a pavement change, which is kind of like how Orlando is. So I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not super hard to get used to. And I do like the different layouts that they're running. I like bringing out the 14, honestly, for the first one, even if we had the Z ready, just because it is a bank. So it's easier to run in a car that you know. And then once they go to the infield, I think that'll be a good kind of learning curve for the Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, the infield's actually supposed to be pretty slippery wherever the concrete is. So
a lot of people said you're basically off throttle.
Yeah, and it looked like there's like a hump. You know, like there's definitely kind of, I wouldn't say a jump, but it was definitely pretty noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
Significant, yeah, little up and down, what they call whoop-de-doos.
Yeah, little whoops.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. How long have you been drifting for?
I started in mid 2011. So about 10 and a half years. No. Yeah.
Yeah, about that. All right, good deal. And what did you come from? You were competing in another form of sport before drifting, correct?
Yeah, so actually I came from like all my family were into motorsports. So it started off with motocross because my uncle back in the 80s, I don't know if you follow motocross, but he raced against like Bob Hanna and all those big names back then.
Okay.
And then my mom barrel raced horses, and then my dad raced boats. And so
awesome.
as soon as I could like walk pretty much, they got me on like a bike, and then I went to motocross for like 10 years. No, I think it was like 8 or 9 years. And then so many people were getting hurt. They just took me out of it. And then we went to jet ski racing. And that's really where I kind of started to shine. We did that for 4 years. And then I had to get back surgery, and then we found drifting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. You know, a lot of guys come from the motocross background.
Yeah, like Connor O'Sully.
I mean, he was big in, and I find it interesting that it seems that being raised around a motorsports and especially in a competitive form, it seems like those drivers do better.
It lends to a good competitive driver, right?
It does. Yeah, it really does. It preps you for this competitive nature of drifting, because I'm assuming motocross is a much fierce competitive sport, at least from when I've watched it. It definitely seems a lot more fierce. Drifting is competitive, but it's kind of fun at the same time, and it's not as I don't know, just motocross. Everybody, it seems like aggressive,
It's very aggressive.
Yeah, so this is like a very tamed down version of competition, but you've been able to take that experience and utilize that and be able to just drive you in a drifting career, because you've excelled tremendously.
And one thing I would say about motocross too is like, if you get started off in that, it's aggressive, but it's also dangerous, and there's like consequences like pretty bad if you wreck. As far as like drifting, it's not nearly as dangerous. So like if you're in that mindset of, oh wow, I could really get hurt, and that's kind of what you grew up in, and then you go to something that's real safe. I mean, just speaking, like people have gotten hurt in drifting, but I mean nothing terrible. So if you go from that to this that mindset, you got that aggressive side to it, and you're not really scared, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny.
I think you could see that. Yeah, you could definitely see that in Connor. You can see that in,
Yeah.
in you.
Yeah,
as
because
well.
for most people, they've autocrossed, maybe they drag race a little bit, but a lot of people, it's their first form of motorsport or competition at all.
yeah.
And it is. It's their danger level is like they're going to a higher danger level, right? And you're
Right.
dialing it back. So it's a
Exactly.
total different mindset.
I
And
didn't even
yeah.
think about it that way. It's really interesting. You can now that makes it kind of makes sense why the difference in style there.
Right. Right.
And that's even so my cousin, my uncle's son who raced motocross professionally, he's just turned 22. And so he was riding when we were young, and it was me and both my other cousins. One was 2 years younger than me, and then he was 4.5. And so we grew up riding together, and then he stayed in it because that's what his dad wanted him to do, and that's what he was really good at. So he ended up going pro maybe a year and a half ago in the 250 class. And he did 3 events or 3 races pro, and then ended up like slicing his Achilles heel or Achilles
Oh God!
yeah, breaking his femur. And now he hasn't been on a bike since. And it's just it's hard for him to walk. He's been through multiple surgeries, and they don't think he's going to ride again. Hopefully he's able to keep his foot because he's got bad blood flow to it.
Oh my God.
So I mean,
Holy cow!
you see that so often in that sport, and it's really tough, you know, because there's so many good riders, but they get taken out. Even if you look at the pro class now this year, damn 10, 12, 15 people are taken out that are actually like top riding pros, you know, and it's just, in drifting, you don't have that, which is nice. And one thing too, I mean, if you come from a family of any kind of motorsports, you kind of have to have that backing to make it to the pros or just make it big at a young age. You know, I mean, you can't do this by yourself at 15, 16, 17 years old, you know.
Right.
So
Unless
if
you
you
got
come
people
from a
behind
family
you.
that knows it, makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, because having that background and the level of competition that you came from, you already know how to develop a program, right? You know how to deal with sponsors. All this experience has taught you so much. So coming to drifting was an easy transition for you. And we talk about a lot how there's a lot of drivers that have great talent. And a lot of time what holds them back is just life, like, right? They can't find sponsors, or they don't know how to develop a program. They can't get people to help them. If they do, they're just not consistent. And it's such a major part of it. And like, I talked to your dad, I met your mom and dad, and they're great. And they support you so much. And having that support is just something you need to be competing and doing what you're doing at the level you are.
Yeah. And I mean, anytime anybody says anything about it, you know, I'm completely honest. Like, I would not be where I'm at today without them. You know, I mean, to me, I mean, my dad in particular, he's been like my number one fan from the get-go, you know, and he's like, I don't have many like close friends, and he's always been my best friend. And it's so cool having that relationship, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And if I saw it from looking in and I didn't have that, whatever my situation was, you know, I'd be kind of jealous in that same factor, you know, so I can't blame anybody for hating on it, you know, but when you have it, it's such a nice, good, just feeling being a best friend with someone that's so close to you.
And that's a shame. That's a shame because, but you know what? See, that's the thing is whether that's your support system and that's what has helped you, or whether or not, you're always going to have people that are going to either talk trash or hate. That's just something that kind of comes with it, right? Yeah. Even when we announce, right?
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
hate us.
we have people like, oh, that guy, he can't pronounce names. What an idiot. You know, it's like, so it doesn't matter where you go.
Alex not from California.
Yeah. That's your fault, buddy. Anyways, but you're going to, so you know, you've always been super humble. And I think I was a fan of you before I got to meet you, and Klutch Kickers has done a lot for me as far as being able to put names, not names with the faces, but be able to personalities, be able to get to meet all the drivers that I watch all the time. And that's one of the things, like even Taylor Hull, right? Taylor Hull has got a whole aura around him where people just hate on somebody. He's such a nice guy. Like, you talk to him, he's so genuinely nice guy, and it's a shame that just the way the social media is and the way things go down, right? It just gives people a certain I don't know, like a
skewed viewpoint.
A skewed viewpoint. Yeah, that's a great words for that, and it's a shame, but I don't see that when
and like I've noticed that too, where I've seen other drivers. I'm like, man, he kind of seems this way or that way, or just standoffish, and then you sit back and time goes by and you actually get to know that person. Yeah. And they're just like you know, just because they're a little quiet or to themselves or whatever doesn't mean that they're being an asshole or anything. You know, it's just who they are. And once you actually get to know them, they actually have like, they're just good people.
Yeah. And I like finding out like some of the questions I ask her. Is there anything else that you do besides drifting? Yeah. And some of the answers I get back are pretty cool, right? Like Thomas Miata was one, right? He loves cryptocurrency. He's all about the cryptocurrency. And I would never think that, hey, this guy's drifting a Miata, right? And he's like he's into the cryptocurrency thing. I just never would have pegged it. Is there anything that you do outside of drifting or motorsports?
Yeah, so my dad's owned a tile roofing company for like 30 years. So when I was in Vegas and on the West Coast being a driving instructor, I really didn't pay attention to it. But once I moved back, I've just been helping him out a lot and just trying to learn about the roofing and what goes into it. And I'd like to maybe take over that business one day. But right now it just gives me something to do. I'm helping him out because he's kind of like a one-man show. And it keeps us close. I mean, if you look at my call log, I talk to my dad like 15 times a day. And so we go back and forth a lot. And I'm learning a lot from him. But I mean, really right now, that's about it. Just that and trying to get the cars ready.
Yeah. How much more do you have to do on the Z?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, the motor's sitting in the car. We got the trans ready, waiting on just a few more parts, got the fuel system ready. We bought the car with a really good cage in it. Had to make some changes to the actual fab work and just add a few things and take a few things away. So, I mean, right now it's just a waiting game on some parts. Once we get those, we'll be able to get it further. The only thing is I like to powder coat my chassis a certain color. So once we get all the parts on, we're going to have to strip it down again, send it to powder coating, and then put everything back on. So it's just a process.
Wow.
So you powder coat the whole chassis, not paint it?
Yeah, we like to powder coat because it stands up a lot better. Like if you're getting out of the car.
You're not taking us to the bathroom, are you?
No, I was actually going to show you my dogs and my lizards.
There you go.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought I heard a dog. I thought it was my dog trying to get in the
there you go.
So this is
Rufus. Oh, wow.
He's got a huge little mansion over here. Oh, and then there's my boy Waffles. Come here. He's my sweet little handsome boy.
I love it. We're getting a tour.
That's cool.
I'll give you a tour of the house.
It's like MTV Cribs.
Yeah. So she's a sweet girl. This is the sim rig.
Oh wow.
It's actually really nice. Shout out to Rick Motec. They helped me out a lot with that build. And then we know one of the coolest rooms, but also the most stinky room, is the ferret room.
Oh, you got a ferret room?
Yeah. Holy wow! You can see him sleeping.
Holy cow!
And there's
just one in there. You got you got more.
Yeah, I got 4 of them.
Holy cow!
And this is a little cat toy room.
Holy cow!
How do they get along with the dogs?
Huh?
How do they get along with the dogs?
Dogs like food.
I mean, they're sweet. The dogs are sweet to them, but the ferrets bite quite a bit. So I'm always worried about.
You think it'd be the other way around?
Yeah, no, the ferrets draw blood. I have scars from them. But it's just the way they play. Like, if you look at ferrets playing with each other, they bite each other all the time.
Oh, wow. That's why you got to keep them locked up. I mean, it makes sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
You lose a toe in the middle of the night. You wake up, you have 9 toes.
You got to put like a deadly. You got to put some kind of crazy rabid ferret on the side of your car or something.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta
If
have
you
a
look
rabbit
on the
ferret.
inside, I got a sticker that says Waffle Association, and that's for my dog.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there
Yeah, I
you
love them. We love our dogs.
Well, it's like what's his God, Mag Jay-Z. What's I forgot his name.
Marco?
Marco.
Garza.
He's got this thing with possums. He loves
Oh
possums.
yeah.
Yeah. It's,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I never really,
Yeah,
I never realized it.
he really loves possums.
I see him
I
all the
love
time,
possums,
like on the
too.
side of the road.
So weird
That's
fact
interesting.
about possums, like we have a ton of them around here.
Yeah.
So if I see one that's been hit by a car or something, I'll go up to it and I'll see if it's got babies in its pouches.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It's really disgusting because I hate seeing dead animals. But if you can save like a baby, you know.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that because there's a story. It was almost a year ago today when I was on a show that you were supposed to be on a show. I don't know if you want to talk about it or if you can. I think it doesn't matter at this point. But they sent you home because you were trying to rescue something.
Yeah.
This guy, he's trying to save somebody's life, and they send him home.
Yeah.
I'll let him tell the story.
So I forget the name of that show. Could you
Yeah,
remind
we'll
me?
just
I guess
Getaway
don't-
Driver.
Yeah.
Getaway Driver.
And so who hosted that? History Channel, right? Or was it National
No.
Geographic?
Discovery.
Discovery, that's what it was. Okay. So we're over there and it's during COVID. And we have to sit in the hotel for like 5 days before we go filming to get tested every day.
Yeah, I was there.
So I walk outside and I see a bird with like a rope wrapped around its beak. And I'm like, shit, like, and this is like a big bird. And it's like a pelican. And so I started talking to some like local people and they're like, yeah, he's had this on his beak for like 3 days now, blah, blah, blah. And so I was over at Dick's Sporting Goods trying to get a huge net to catch them. And I spent maybe 6-7 hours chasing this bird. And I was so close to getting him, but then he flew off and he'd fly back and he'd fly off. And I was just like, come on. Then, yeah, we got caught.
I got caught trying to do some good and they sent him home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sent him home
because okay, so in the show they wanted us in the hotel rooms and they didn't want us to go outside the hotel. Nobody was supposed to talk to each other because they didn't want anybody cheating or telling any secrets of how the show went.
Oh, jeez.
So, but I mean, I was out and about too because I had to fix my car. So I was walking over to Napa Auto and getting parts and working outside on my car and stuff. But I thought that was crazy, right? I'm like, the man's trying to save
up.
Huh?
I said it was pretty messed up.
Yeah, it was.
Especially if you spent so much time
Yeah.
out there. Just freaking hell.
And,
I have a question about practicing on the sim rig.
uh-huh.
Yeah, definitely.
How well do you think that translates to reality?
So it all depends on your setup. You know, a lot of it's based off the force feedback or direct drive wheel. I'm not really too good at setting things up, so I'm just going to go off the base setting. I think it's good with like timing and being able to work on like left foot braking.
Mhm.
Do I think
Yeah.
it's 100% accurate? No. Is it a lot of fun? Yeah. You know, I've been doing more iRacing lately.
Oh, really?
So I've been running like dirt car stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
But it's they actually do payouts. So it's like if you win the championship for iRacing, it's like $10,000.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in gaming.
Yeah.
Gaming.
Now
Yeah,
it's
he
hard
put
because
up a-
you're against good people, you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah, he put up a post recently where I think I don't know if I think you started on 22nd and then worked your way up to 5th place. Is that correct?
yeah, so that's a little like league I'm running. It's like a $500 payout. You can't be a pro, but you can be like right below pro. And
Mhm.
I just joined it because I've never done it before.
Mhm.
And it's been a lot of fun because it's really consistent with the people that join. So you start to learn people's tendencies
Yeah.
and kind of learn from them. So I think it's pretty fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. Did you
Now-
try that, Ben?
No, not
So
yet.
if you watch the
Oh, yeah?
video,
Yeah, 'cause Ben, you play. Well, you on a set of courses. That's what you usually play, Ben.
Yeah, just a setup. The only thing I could add to this that might be interesting is that Klutch Kickers released the first layout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
First round layout.
Oh.
and which is good because obviously it gives people some time to actually get some sort of visual reference sense of what they kind of
That is
what
cool.
to expect for this upcoming competition. And I have my opinions about it, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Tim.
No. I like. What's the pup's name right there? Is that Waffles?
Yeah, Mr. Waffles.
Mr. Waffles. Yeah, he likes the camera. He
Oh,
wants
he
attention.
loves it. A lot more than his dad, I'll tell you that.
Oh.
He's I've had him for like 7 years.
Oh wow.
All right, good deal. So, as far as leading up to the season, any I mean, you said you've been busy working and just trying to get the car ready. Are there any other challenges that you faced? I mean, obviously the Z's not going to be ready, but like you said, it's really not all that bad of a thing, right? It's better to take your time with it, do it the way you want. But are there any other challenges that you faced getting ready for this season?
Yeah, I'm actually in a pretty big one right now. So I don't know if you saw that new trailer I got, that white one.
No.
No,
we haven't.
I remember
So
the black one.
Yeah, I sold the black one, and I got a 42-foot Fusion trailer, which is like it was made for sprint car racing.
Okay.
And so it's really tall and it's really nice, and I got it for a good deal. And so the guy brought it down, and I towed it to the shop to start putting in some tools and stuff. Well, come to find out, they used the wrong axles,
Oh.
and so it's really low. And I was looking at the trailer when we got it, like it's tuck and tire, and I was like, this is kind of weird for a trailer, but it looks good. And and so we got it, and the axles were like super hot, and the brakes were like super hot. And so I took it to a trailer shop, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to swap these axles. It's gonna be like $3,000 per axle. And I was like, holy shit.
Oh God.
And but the biggest thing is the wait time. And I was like, we can't get axles. It would be a 4-week wait time, and this was last week. And
oh no.
so yeah, we're going through
and of course,
situation.
and of course, it's not that close to you anymore, right? Now it's
Yeah,
it's 6
exactly.
hours from you.
Yeah. So
Oh, man.
he's doing some stuff. Hopefully it'll work. We'll figure that out. Hopefully.
Yeah. Get some sprayers underneath there. Just spray them down.
Yeah, I was about to pull up in the open trailer.
Hey,
That'd be
you gotta
something.
do what you gotta do.
Yeah. U-Haul trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. we'll be there one way or another.
There you
you
go.
go.
Well, that's good. Good.
Now, what have y'all
But-
been up to?
Well, we just finished the first round. So
We
so
did the
we're-
live stream for the first round of the
the
program.
U.S. Drift Circuit. So we, us as a show, we started the show in my garage, and just with the mindset, if it takes off, if it does, it's not a big deal. If it doesn't, we're just getting together and talking about cars and having a good time, right?
Give us a reason to talk. and
Yeah,
get together.
just to
Yeah.
get together and talk and just fellowship together, friends and my brother and just something that we started doing a long time ago, but just started back up again, and now it's turning in with the help of Captain Ben here. We're starting to branch off and take it to the next level by providing live stream service. We've provided live stream service for U.S. Drift Circuit, like on a simple level, right? Just a couple cameras and talking. We've worked in conjunction with Klutch Kickers live stream, but that was production by Matt Stone. And then we kind of came along with the announcing, and then Captain Ben helped quite a bit with the technical side of that as well. But the U.S. Drift Circuit round one was our first time doing a full live stream competition.
Competition,
Competition
but we
coverage.
did Fuel Fest in West Palm Beach.
We
as
did
well.
Fuel Fest, but that was so like there's a difference between live streaming just drifting and live streaming a competition, right? You need graphics, you need a grid, you need like stats and everything and play by play versus just people having a good time talking about the cars. So for us, what we've been working on is getting better at that. And that's what we're doing and trying to drive in between. Like my brother has his G35 sedan and he was driving there on the skid pad. And then I have my 350Z that's kind of like a seat time car. And then I'm trying to finish this E46 behind me. But then I bought a mini bike and I've been wasting time and money on my mini bike. But yeah, so that's, so it's other than that, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to develop this live streaming service to be able to provide it for those that want to live stream. Huh?
I mean, every time during Klutch Kickers, like I really enjoyed watching the live stream, and it was y'all talking, it was the quality of it, it's kind of everything combined, just seemed like it worked. And I mean, I enjoyed it, and I think y'all are great commentators. I wouldn't want to swap you out.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. You know, we were thrilled that they chose to keep us, right? Because now they're going to a different venue. We're going on Cletus's platform, and I'll be honest with you. When I heard they're going to Freedom Factory, I was like, that's it. They're not going to use us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Cletus can get whoever he wants, but the Klutch Kickers crew, Zach and Matt, they're great people. So they're like, no, we got guys, and we want to use them because that's who we've been using, and we are thankful for everything. One, for the event that they organize, right? Because when you go to that event, it's not just. They do such a great job organizing and streamlining everything. It runs like a well-oiled machine. And running events in the past, we have grown to appreciate that. But yeah, those are kind words from you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
Now, where are y'all based out of?
So we're Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So we're down south.
Basically Miami.
Well, Ben's out of Hialeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Damn it. No.
Oh, no, he's
Too
not.
specific.
Hialeah. Oh,
I want
my
people
bad.
to know his location. Yeah.
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 Whatever.
Ben's a CIA agent. He's a secret agent that nobody knows about. So
Yeah, we started running events in
Don't be looking me up.
2006 at our local track, and that's what kind of got us into drifting.
yeah.
And then ever since then, we've been
Is that
hanging
Palm
out.
Beach?
No, so we had a track. So Drift Sessions, the name Drift Sessions, actually started as an organization hosting events in Miami. There was it basically what we had is we had an 1/8 mile drag strip that was at a touch and go airport in the middle of right on the border of Miami and
Pretty much in the
Broward.
Everglades.
Yeah, right in the Everglades, right? So it was like a touch and go. It wasn't like a full airport. It just had 2 landing strips. And it was just like emergency touch and go that some planes use. Not many people used it. So somebody had developed that into an 1/8 mile drag strip. And we would utilize they had a skid pad in another part of the area as a drift track.
Yeah.
That's all we had. We're charging like $50 to run and $20 to run the skid pad every other week. And we were doing that for 8-9 years
Yeah.
until they sold it, or they didn't sell it. The city basically closed it down, just stopped it. It was a bunch of regulations crap that was unfortunate, and then that's kind of Drift Sessions went into hibernation at that point. And then Chris Jackson started the U.S. Drift Circuit. He actually, I like to say that he kind of spawned off of Drift Sessions because I was with him when we came up with the name, and I just got to the point where I was tired of running events. I just wanted to drive. So then Chris Jackson kind of took over the helm and changed it in the form of U.S. Drift Circuit, and he's the one that runs the Sebring events. I don't know if you ever get a chance to go to a Sebring event. It's a freaking awesome track.
Yeah, I've seen videos of it. It looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Now, what year were you at, or I guess what year did you start at the airport?
2006.
2006.
Oh, so you're an OG.
Yeah, we've been around for a
Okay.
while. Yeah,
Sweet.
2006. Yeah, 2006. Ryan Kaufman. Jeremy Lowe and Pat Gooden. They used to come down there back in the day.
Yeah.
I think, did Chelsea ever drive that track?
Chelsea did.
Chelsea
did.
drove it down there. Actually, Frederick Asbo came one time, and I let him drive my E30.
Really?
He came
That's
to one
cool.
event. So that was right when he came into Formula Drift. That was like his second season.
Sweet.
So we had a good time. We also we've ran drifting events at the Homestead Miami Speedway way back in the day. So that was fun.
Now,
But
do
yeah,
they
we've
still run
been
there?
around for a while. Huh?
Do they still run at Homestead?
No, it's hard. You can't really rent it out. You got to run alongside another event, right, to be able to drift in the infield. Like, unless you have a lot of money, you can run out the whole track, but we don't have a lot of money. So we just would piggyback off another, like FARA, which is like an auto motorsports
event.
A motorsports event.
We would do a drifting demo,
Right, a
which
demo.
would give us 2 hours to do some drifting on the infield.
Yeah. It was great when it lasted, but, it's just unfortunate. Right now, our closest track is about an hour and a half away.
And they're about to take that away. Right?
Yeah, PBIR is getting sold, so that's it for that. So our only track we really have now is going to be
Sebring and OSW.
Sebring, OSW, and Freedom Factory.
Yeah.
Looks like we're about in the same boat. For me, I think it'll be probably 3.5, 4 hours, probably to Mid Pond, at least by 4. And then to Orlando's 6 hours, Tampa's 7.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, we're exactly in the same boat. Yeah, we're about 3 or 4 hours away from all those tracks. But they're great tracks.
Yeah.
I wish I lived closer.
I wish I lived closer to Mid Pond. Mid Pond's really cool.
Actually, I take that back. I'm going to an event tomorrow. It's in Pensacola at a small track called Five Flags, where they hold
I heard about that.
snowball derby and stuff. So I'm taking out the little VQ car, but It's more of like a really small infield, so I really wouldn't consider it like a great test track.
Somebody wants attention.
I know. This is how I'm driving. I take him to work, and this is exactly how he sits in my lap all day.
Driving a car?
Yeah.
Oh,
at
wow.
least,
boy.
at least he's mostly black, but I'm sure you walk around with white hairs all over your shirt all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Smelling like a dog.
Yeah.
I got a question that's been on my mind, and I'm sure it's been on a lot of people's minds. Like after watching what happened throughout the whole season, can you tell us, was it intentional what happened during your qualifying session, where you would zero out on your first run, and all of a sudden you would be like, you know what, screw it, I'm going ham, and you would go ahead and, I mean, I would say almost there was only one instance where you didn't get the number 1 qualifying spot. Tell us, reveal to us, sir.
If you watch my driving, I really only have one speed, and it's 100%, and sometimes 105. So with qualifying, that's really the only time I psych myself out. And so I tell myself to get a good run on the first one, send it on the second. Well, when I leave the line, I just go blank and I turn into an idiot and I send it. And then I come back and my parents are upset. My Ernie's upset. Everybody's mad at me. And I'm mad at myself. You know, I'm pissed off. And so, no, it's definitely not on purpose. It's really the only time in a event that I'll psych myself out, and it's qualifying. And so the second run just happens to be good, thank God. But I send it just as hard, and I don't get it.
It wasn't good. It was the best.
Yeah, could have been better, but yeah.
Well, it was enough to edge out and take home the extra cash twice, right? Was it twice or 3 times?
Yeah, one time he took it from Rome.
Yeah, one time he took it from Rome.
And then I think there was another time.
At least, I think.
And I lost it once, and we got rained out.
Oh man, that was yeah. Well, that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm hoping the first event typically is good weather. We should have decent weather. But isn't the first event usually earlier than this?
I believe so.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to say it's usually beginning of April, so we're only 2 weeks
like
away.
The 14th.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get a little...
I did hear about this track or the first layout that they won't be judging. Well, they'll judge it pretty hard as far as like style and commitment, but the line, you don't have to be on the wall, which I'm not really a big fan of.
Yeah, that's what I heard that too. One, they said you don't really want to be on the wall anyways, because it's really not, the traction's not there. That's what I've heard. So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah. Well, the more tire gets laid on it, the better it'll get. Well, yeah, I was gonna ask something, I totally forgot.
I got a question for you. So, since you're so close to the Everglades, have you taken an airboat down there? No way. How was it?
It's pretty cool if you get a good drive. If you get somebody that knows what they're doing, and it's like what's fun about it is you feel like you're drifting the whole time because they don't really go straight. You're just kind of like you're going through the thing. I'm like, this is great. Everywhere. It seemed like a good time. But where I live, where me and my brother live, like I can literally ride my bike to the levee that's around the Everglades. Yeah. So I grew up it's not uncommon to see a gator right here and there. Especially our old house, we would see gators on the side of on
gators
the lake.
In the canal, gators,
iguanas everywhere. Everywhere. But yeah, I'm literally like maybe a 10-minute bike ride from the Everglades, and it's pretty cool. I could see how people get addicted to those fan boats.
Yeah, definitely kitting them out.
I've been on one around here, and it was pretty fun. Like you said, I mean, so I did it twice. One of the drivers was not that fun; just did too much talking, and then the others were a little bit younger. And I mean, they were hitting inner clips and outer zones. I was like, this is so awesome. Like,
yeah.
I'm having the time of my life. But we have gators down here, and they're pretty big. But I think in the Everglades, y'all have a lot bigger snakes. That's where.
We have some freaking serious snakes out there.
Yeah, pretty bad.
They have guys out there hunting them all the time.
Yeah.
Trying to take them out.
Yeah, we used to have bad mosquitoes, but they go around with a truck and spray it everywhere.
Yeah.
And we run around in it like with our hands all up, run around in the midst of the mosquito spray. That was
mosquito poison. Yeah.
Mosquito poison. It's great. It's good for your lungs.
Yeah, we got no-see-ums down here. They'll light your ass
You do?
up. Oh yeah.
Really? Huh.
I just had to put on bug spray right before I walked in the house.
Oh wow.
Well, I was outside working on the car, but I mean they're everywhere.
So do you work on the car? Was the car sit outside, or does you have a garage, or?
No, I don't have a garage. It's just on the trailer.
Oh,
I got two
wow.
pods that it's like an old train pod or whatever.
Right.
And so I just put all the parts in there.
Wow.
Oh.
Interesting. Good deal.
It's a cheap way to do it.
Yeah. I had years of working on the driveway, angled
Yeah, we've
driveway.
done
And
that, yeah.
I bought this house, and he bought a house not too long ago. It's pretty close to me. And one of the things I was like, I have an air conditioning and I slapped an AC in there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll wait till the actual garage cools down even further. So before I don't want to sweat. I spent
Yeah,
years of my
I don't
life
either.
sweating. I was like, no mosquitoes and no sweat. I love it. It's great.
No. It's getting hot here too. Today
Yes,
was one
it
of the
is.
hottest days.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding your competitive mindset. How would you describe your method or your way of maintaining your cool when you have so much pressure built upon your success?
There's two options for me. I can not think about it, or I can completely overthink it. So when I get up in the line, like for me, that is the most calm spot that I'm in. Like my heart rate and everything. That's why I just like to sit there with my visor down. I don't like to talk to anybody. And then once I'm in the run, I'm not thinking about absolutely anything except for what I'm doing. It's kind of like a muscle memory kind of thing. And then once I get done, I mean, sometimes I don't even remember what just happened. So I don't know. I try to take it as like, that's my Zen spot, as being in the car. I try not to psych myself out, but I do when I'm by myself. When it's more like a battle, I feel like all eyes are not like only on me. And so I can just focus on, and that's why I like following so much, is because like in a lead, the pressure's kind of on you to throw down a qualifying run. But when you're chasing, you're just following a moving clip.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like in the chase position, you can kind of show your aggressive side a little bit more. So that's kind of what I enjoy. But I mean, just kind of treat it as that's the spot where you're supposed to be in that moment. And you're there for a reason.
Do you find it more difficult chasing a less experienced driver, or more difficult chasing somebody like Brandon McDowell?
Definitely a less experienced driver is harder to follow. It's more of a trust thing. But when you're following, you can see when someone's it's weird. You can see when someone's about to spin out or going into a wall or just do something. You see it as it's happening because everything's a little bit more slow motion. But yeah, I definitely like following someone. Like my favorite would probably be against like Forrest Wayne. It's going to be an all-out just style battle. There's no games being played. For me, that's the most amount of fun, and that's kind of how it was with Randy Noah. So I don't know. You get your good battles, and then sometimes you mess it up, and there's no coming back from it.
Yeah. So, because you've competed at the pro level, so what are some of the games that the pro drivers, well, I wouldn't say games, but what are some of the tactics that some drivers will use in that lead position to try to throw you off? And are you able to pick them out when they happen?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's too late, like tire pressure. Like you'll clock someone's lap time, and then whenever you're going against them, they'll be quite a bit faster. So that's one reason, just a little bit of brake checking here and there. Like everybody knows how to slow down. So you see that after the battle, you can't really expect it during it. But I don't know. I mean, games are so easy to play, but at the same time, most people don't play games because at that level, you're just trying to get your best run that you can. I have heard of brake light switches. I have heard of traction control and stuff like that. I've never personally seen it, so I can't say for certain. So I think that's a way of cheating, is like if you're having your brake switch delayed or whatever. I don't think that's cool. Right. But I mean, I've always told people, if I'm going to play a game, like if you play with me, I'll play back. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to throw a shit ton of angle at it, and that's how I'm going to slow down my car and kind of choke you up. But in the sense, if you ride or if you give me a good lead run, I'll try to give you the best lead run as well.
So you feed off their vibe.
Right.
So that it's interesting when I hear you talk about these certain things that happen on the track, because I don't know, 10 years ago, Formula Drift, people weren't at that level, right? To be at the level where back then, for the most part, I'm not saying it didn't happen at all, but for the most part, maybe 10, 12 years ago, people were going all out because they had to go all out. But then as the sport has progressed, right, the cars have gotten better, the drivers are getting better, just the ability to be able to compete at that level and be able to do things to try to throw the guy behind you off, but still put down a solid run, right? To be able to have the talent and the mindset to do these things, it has shown to me how this sport has evolved the drivers. Because back in the day, you just trying to put down a good run. There really wasn't many games.
And I would say the same is kind of like now. I mean, I'd say 95% of the battles you won't see a game being played.
Right.
But you do get that occasional, just a little bit of a brake check, a little bit of a slow down, a little bit of this, and it's just, it happens, but it's not as often as people think. Because even like what you're saying for FD, you can't play games at Long Beach. I mean, you're just trying to throw down as hard as you can. You can't really play games in Seattle. I don't know if they still run there. I mean, Atlanta, you can't really play games. So it's really about car setup and how you're driving. But I really wouldn't say there's a lot of games being played.
Yeah. What's your favorite FD track?
I always like Long Beach.
Really?
It's really dangerous in a sense, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Atlanta was fun
Matt
too.
Field
Mainly,
just destroyed his car.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many walls at Long Beach, you can just total your car anywhere. But at Road Atlanta, the fans were really cool. So like Long Beach, the fans were, I wouldn't say standoffish, but they're mainly walking around and stuff. But Road Atlanta, the energy there is just different. And it's just, it's a nighttime vibe, and it's just, you're hauling ass in fourth gear on initiation. Then you slow down a lot. But I like Road Atlanta for the vibe and Long Beach for the track.
Yeah, I like Road Atlanta as a spectator. We love Road Atlanta because it's like a coliseum. It has that natural benches all the way around it, and it has
everybody's doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, there are people doing some crazy stuff. Yeah.
And it's cool too, being able to like sit on top of the hill and just watch the whole run. Because that's really rare. Like at Long Beach as a driver, you're watching a live stream. You can't see what's going on.
Right.
But at Road Atlanta, you can walk up 30, 40 feet and be watching the show, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing you got to watch out is for Georgia State Police when you leave. They're no joke.
No, that's why Grid Life was shut down.
Yeah, really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're there and the cops were just being assholes. And I mean, I get it. I mean, you're trying to contain a rowdy bunch, but at the same time, it's kind of what we came for.
Right.
So there's a happy medium.
Yeah.
I think Tim, you spoke to him one of the previous rounds, and one of the things that you asked Alec was in regards to what are some of his plans for this year. And I do recall one of the things mentioned was Formula Drift. And so, Alec, is that still in the cards, your return to Formula Drift, or has that been postponed?
Yeah, so me and my dad were watching Long Beach, and I looked at him, and he told me, he's like, I knew you were going to get this feeling again. And I was like, I really want to do this again at some point. I don't think it's obviously not going to be this year. I don't think it's going to be next year. But definitely I would like to do it at some point.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, but it's so expensive. So expensive. If you're doing it at a very competitive level, like if you're trying to win and go for a top 5 in the points, it's so expensive.
Yeah. I know Jeff Jones. We talk to him quite often because Chris Jackson's part of his team, and we see what he goes through. It's really a lot of time and effort, man. A lot of time and effort, and a lot of times you look at it from somebody that's not in the racing at all, and it's just such a financial mistake. I mean, you just throwing money away, for the for just because you love it so much, but at the same time, it's yeah, I see what he goes through. And then he wrecked his car at Long Beach, so now he's got to rebuild again and try to make it for the next one. It's really is a labor of love, but yeah,
we did it for 8 years and it never got cheaper. I mean, thankfully I was able to have some sponsors help us out. Never once did I come close to making money. I was able to break even, but at the same time, that's only doing FD. Like, we did not do a single round, a single play date, anything outside of Formula Drift.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a hard thing, is having no seat time. So I'd go from Long Beach and stay cold, play on the sim, show up to Orlando and go cold after that, where a lot of these people are just driving and driving and driving, but that's what it takes.
Yeah. It's interesting. We were talking, we had Frederick Osbo on the show also not too long ago. And I don't know if you ever heard this or ever thought about doing this, but one thing, the way he addresses the sim rig is he'll get on the sim rig and he'll just throw 5 runs down and that's it. He won't sit on it for hours and then he'll get off. Have you ever done that?
Yeah. So whenever I'm doing iRacing out there in the league, they have like a set practice and it's like 2 hours long. And I tried to make that race the only race during the week that I run. And I'll practice for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Because, I mean, in dirt cars, it's a little different. And so I'll do that for about 20, 30 minutes, hop off, and just wait for qualifying.
Right.
Because you do it so many times that you start, I wouldn't say making it a joke, but you start doing stuff you would never do in real life.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're learning bad habits.
Right. Yeah. No, that's interesting. I've done the sim rig like once or twice. My brother's got one. I got to get over his house and get on it, but I get frustrated because I touch the gas and I spin around. I'm like, oh, this isn't real. This isn't real.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's also like, if I get on someone else's sim, it's so different that it's not even comfortable for me to do what I'm doing in mine. So you have to get in one that you're consistent with to really learn that. It's just like a car. If you're going from this car to that car to that car, you can learn it, but at the same time, it's better just to be in one.
Yeah.
Have you drifted any other car besides the Z and the S14? And if so, what was the craziest car you've ever taken sideways?
The craziest, my S14 for sure.
Okay.
So I mean, that car is really radical. It's just a light switch. I have driven Duarte's E46. I liked it, but it really wasn't for me. The most fun car I've ever driven was Forrest Wang's S14.
Oh.
And it made, I think, like 650 on a 2J. And I tell you what, that car was so much fun. Like, if you're not doing it for competition because it wasn't fast enough, but if you're just doing it to have a fun car, that was my all-time favorite car. But my car, it's the most radical by far. So with mine, it makes 950 horsepower, but at the same time, 90% of that power comes in at like 1800 RPM. So it's literally a light switch. You're either on it and you're in it, or you're off. And that's why I'm wrapped out so often. There's not a lot of throttle modulation just because it's so different. It's not like a JZ where you can kind of modulate it, especially on a track like Klutch Kickers where it's so tight.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's fun and it works and it's reliable, but I don't think it's the key setup.
But the thing is, it makes you go wide open throttle, but that just seems to be something that drivers are looking for, right? I've heard a lot of judges talk about how they deduct points for too much throttle modulation. They really want to see the drivers on it all the time, and I think that's probably another reason why you're able to qualify, helps you qualify so high, because you're just going balls to the wall because you really don't have much option.
Right.
Yeah,
so if you ever want to hop in the car, I'll let you ride in it and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I'll take you. I'll take you up on that. I'll bring in my helmet.
But I've learned that's the way. Like, even with that VQ, sorry, he's moving a lot.
Okay.
Even with that VQ car that I have, like, I've learned to drive the 14 at such a high pace that I drive that car the same way. And it's just, I guess now I can't really say, but that's just the way I am and the way I've kind of learned to drive, which I like it, but I beat the shit out of the car. Shit breaks all the time. We went through 6 trans in like 5
Oh, wow.
rounds. You know?
Yeah, I think that one round he borrowed a trans from
from
Rome,
Rome.
Yeah.
and then you beat him.
Yeah. And so we come to a conclusion. So I was shifting too fast. And so it was a 3rd to 4th gear shift that I was hitting too quick. And I guess it was chipping the gear. And they kept calling it a driver mistake or it was all my fault. And I'm like, we need to build something that can withstand a quick shift. You know,
Yeah.
so I learned at my old Corvette, not old, but the C7. And if you've ever driven one of those, they have a no lift shift. And so you can stay in it. And as long as your clutch legs real quick, you can be almost as fast as an automatic. And that's where I learned that bad habit from. And so it transferred over and they always give me shit for it. I was like, it's not my fault. I was too fast in the shifter.
Put it on a
But
shirt.
after 6, we had to calm it down.
Are you looking to do any other events this year, like LS Fest or anything of that nature?
Yeah, LS Fest for sure. I don't know about Grid Life. I'd like to go. It's just kind of cost and with work. But definitely LS Fest. And if we can hit Mid Pond, maybe the Riverside 25 or 50K, whatever it's going to be. But other than that, really just focus on Klutch Kickers right now.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get a chance to hit a USDC event at Sebring, especially, I think you'll have a good time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll see if we can bring the Z out sometime.
Right, that'd be nice.
It'd be fun to see.
Yeah, especially we have the Holy Shift Fest. It's going to be a 2-day event.
Oh,
so that'd probably be a good one to go. Yeah, so it's all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then they're gonna have like concerts and performances at night, kind of like a mini Fuel Fest. They have a car show and everything. Yeah, Sebring. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a hotel right on Sebring.
Yeah, there's a hotel right there. You
stay
actually
on the track.
Yeah, and it's affordable. It's like $90 a night, and it's right on the track.
Yeah.
Well, send me the dates and I'll see if I can make it out there.
All right, good deal. Definitely.
Here, you can hear what I hear every night. Hold on. Oh shit! Did I lose you?
Just a
No,
little
you're
bit.
good. No, we're here.
Of course, he woke up, but this dude snores. So,
He was snoring.
he snores so loud.
Yeah. Well, Alec, I appreciate you taking your time out for us, and we look forward to watching you slay it and defend your title. Right? You do have a target on your back, but if there's anybody that can handle the pressure, we know you can. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. This is definitely gonna be a year for the books, right?
Yeah.
We did say season 3 is gonna be bigger and better, and it is. We're at the Freedom Factory. We know there's gonna be a lot more people watching, and the competition is gonna be even greater. We have a lot of heavy hitters in there, so you definitely have your work cut out for you. But we'll be rooting you on for sure. You guys have anything else?
No.
No.
Thank you, Alec.
Well,
Thanks,
I
Alec.
appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all
All right,
soon.
take care. All right,
Have a
see
good
you
night,
later.
man.
Bye.
Okay, I got
Wow.
something here.
So the S14, there's gonna be a lot of hurt feelings because I think everybody was like, "Oh, he's gonna be in his 350Z. Oh, this won't be so bad." And he's S14. Damn it! Damn it, Owen! Oh,
Yeah. No.
but I mean, it's not like his 350Z is gonna be like a VQ.
No, I think that's what people. I just realized that now. I think people thought he was building his VQ car.
Yeah, no, he's
He's not building. His
he's not
VQ.
taking the VQ car down and sending it to powder coat.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean, he's not going to use his pro car, but well, this time he is. But you know what? Let me tell you something. Brandon McDowell, he's the way his showing and his performance at U.S. Drift Circuit. I think I don't know. He's going to be definitely a force to reckon with. But you got people like Josiah Felice. He's definitely a capable driver.
Yeah.
Taylor Hole, but Taylor Hole's not in the Cadillac, right? He's in something. What is
He's
he?
a Corvette.
He's in the Corvette
And
this
his
year.
FT chassis? No.
As far as I don't know. I
Oh.
didn't see him build anything else.
I'm surprised he's actually competing.
What do you mean surprised?
Surprised.
I mean, didn't he win championship once?
Yeah.
He did?
There
Yeah,
you
season
go.
1. Yeah.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, he did win season 1.
Yeah. And then you have LZ. I'm not sure if LZ is going to be in his E36.
Yeah, I haven't seen the E36 in a while, but
I'm curious. So there's definitely
that's one guy that drives a lot. I'm talking about, Alec was talking about guys that drive a lot. Yeah, I mean, freaking LZ drives. He's driving now. He's driving all of this drift week. He's going to be.
He drifts at his house.
He drifts his house.
It's going to be interesting to see how Cletus does because this is his track. So some could say the guy has endless seat time that if he wants to practice all the layouts he can ever want. I think
but he hasn't done much competition.
And that's what some people say, that it's going to be the competition jitters and how he handles that pressure.
Look, I mean, you know what Alec was saying. I mean, look at how well. I mean, even
Connor.
No, I'm thinking of
Billy Mitchell.
Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, he comes from a competition experience.
Just a competition experience. Just, I mean, he was able to pull off a podium. On one of his first real competitions, right?
Yeah.
And drifting
right,
and a newly built car.
Right.
Let's talk about the event properly. All right.
Okay.
Let's start off with the beginning.
Okay. Start with the beginning.
Qualifying. All right. Qualifying. Was it what you guys expected? I mean, you had Brad St. Germain take the top
Which
spot.
he really did. What happened with his actual competition?
He was saying that when he was going in a competition, his car was like running at like 230, 240
temperature.
Temperature. So he said he was like he had no power
because he looked insane.
He's full throttle. Like you listen to Brad. That's one thing at Bradley. Bradley reminds me of like the way that full throttle commitment. Yeah. Even when he's at like Sebring or any other track, Bradley doesn't freaking lift his foot off the pedal. Like he's just floored all the way around. That's just the way he drives. So it's interesting to watch Bradley as he develops more in competition. But he said his car was way too hot. So when he would go out and when he'd do his lead run, and then when he came back around, his car was way too hot. But back to your point, Ben, I knew Bradley had the capability of doing well, but I didn't see him being the number one qualifier. I was thinking Brandon McDowell or maybe Duarte, right? Salvio is just always it's his car. Savio. Yeah, I'm sorry. Savio it's always his car that holds him back. Sorry, man.
You keep on calling Salvio and
Savio. I don't mean to pronounce the L.
Savio. No L.
Figure it out now.
Yeah, I know, right? Figure it out. Well, he hasn't reprimanded me yet, so we'll see. But anyhow, Savio.
Savio.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I'm saying, Savio.
No, you just said Savio.
Now I did.
You're adding an L.
I'm not adding an L. Savio. Do you think I'm saying an L?
Now it's Savio. But you were saying Salvio.
Well, my tongue gets in the way.
Silvio.
Anyways, his car just a lot of times comes down to his car just doing something crazy.
That engine sound. If anybody's car sounds amazing, his car sounds insane.
Oh, it looks amazing. You
looks
seen
great.
The engine bay is freaking.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
beautiful.
But I'm saying the sound of his engine is ridiculous.
But I didn't think. I thought qualifying.
I didn't think Billy Mitchell was going to go that far.
Well, he was doing pretty good practicing. Joseph Love. It was interesting. It looked like he was fighting the car. I think he said
it didn't look like he had really good control of that car.
Right, he was full throttle the whole time.
The car can definitely go. The car had the chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
Had the chutzpah.
Yeah,
but it didn't look like he had good control of the car.
Was loud.
It was. Qualifying was weird though, right?
Why? In what sense?
If you didn't watch qualifying, I guess they call it Australian style qualifying. Is that accurate? Right. Basically, qualify during practice, which as a driver, I would think that's pretty good because you can get a couple practice laps. You can basically say, I'm getting ready to qualify now. But logistically, for everybody else, it was much more complicated, right? Because the judges, they maybe have like 5 days, basically sitting around waiting until they get a call saying, hey, you guys ready?
Stupid. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, so I see the good and bad parts of it. It definitely caters to the drivers, though.
I see a lot of stupid decisions there.
A lot of stupid decisions. Okay. Well, anyhow, but they are switching.
Lack of brains there.
Oh, lack of brains. They're.
I like the position here where you have Tim trying to be all
political
nice about
correct,
it, politically correct, and Paul's like, nope.
Well,
morons, idiots.
So he is a one-way thinker.
Lack of intelligence.
I try to see both sides of it, right? So I could see how
stupid it is.
And I could see how some people would like it,
see
not dislike it.
The stupidity behind it, and everything else.
So he doesn't like it, but I am kind of.
I appreciate your empathy.
Yeah, but they are going to this.
They have realized their stupidity and now making the adjustment.
I reject the reality and insert my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to go back to standard qualifying.
Oh, I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, anyhow,
I would hope so.
yeah. What I didn't
We
expect.
had this new plane that doesn't have wings. It works.
It's a
It
helicopter.
did not work. So we're going back to the wings.
We're going back to the Oh God. I didn't expect how cold it was going to be.
Right. Well, that's because you dum-dums didn't bother to do your research beforehand. Like, I saw that I was going to drop
The
to like
picture
50
of Gabby.
degrees.
Yeah,
the
I got
picture-
reprimanded for that. Okay, Chris Jackson, he chewed me out for focusing on Gabby and his blanket around him. How unprofessional I was. So that was very unprofessional of me to just take the camera and zoom in on Gabby with a blanket around him.
It was unprofessional of you to
very unprofessional.
showcase how generous Jackson was to take care of our crew.
Yes, that was very unprofessional.
Right.
So
Jackson was trying to do a nice thing and rap
and
Gabby.
I was trying to capture that moment, and I got ridiculed.
Right.
Ridiculed. But anyhow, so I won't do that again because I got to operate the camera for qualifying, which I enjoyed. I actually enjoyed doing that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Why?
Well, I mean, I just figured you.
Your camera work looked like you didn't like
My
it.
camera work was excellent. My camera work was excellent. I had great camera work. What are you
You
talking
did a
about?
good job. Come on, man.
Did you watch the qualifying?
No.
Well, then
So
how
that's
can you
your
even say?
problem.
Well, no, the camera work was making me sick.
Oh,
I couldn't keep
was it the camera work or was it the qualifying?
It was both.
Oh, there we go.
Wasn't sure when I.
Okay.
What about you, Ben?
You can't distinguish both of them. That's your problem, Paul.
It's too
Yeah.
hard.
Well, Paul was driving the whole most
I was
of the time.
no, I was.
Paul was
fixing-
changing out
I was fixing
power
my-
steering pumps all
power
day.
steering
What
pumps.
happened to you, Paul? Let's go over to you.
I was just
What
swapping
kind of
out.
dum-dum moves did you make?
Swap-
Oh, like you,
pumps like-
I know what the dum dum move is.
Okay.
What about what did you do, dum dum? Why did you blow the first pump? I hope. Where'd you go? O'Reilly's or
O'Reilly's,
you went
yeah.
to O'Reilly's? I hope they're watching. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
Tell her dum dum what you
Tell
did.
her.
Tell everybody, dum dum.
He's obviously upset. No. So I was driving the I want to say E30, but G35, and I was really starting to get the hang of OSW skid pad. It was nice. It was decent speed. And I was starting to tandem, and then I had my second tandem run where I was following this guy, and I went flying off the track because my steering wheel locked up, and I'm like, what the hell's like it like locked up so hard, like I thought something got stuck in my rack or something. So I'm like, okay, and then I hit the throttle, and then it got right loose, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I parked the car and I just moved. I was like moving around the steering wheel, and it's okay. Something feels weird. And I went to drove it, and then it started really sticking. So I pulled it off, and I look, and my pump is screaming like a little banshee going and throwing up everywhere.
Oh,
It's throwing up its guts everywhere. So
medic.
I'm like, oh, okay. I think I need a pump. So let me, there's a O'Reilly's right down the road. Actually, there's an auto parts, and then a advanced auto parts, and then or AutoZone, advanced auto, and then O'Reilly's. So I went to advanced auto. I went to AutoZone. They didn't have a pump. I went to advanced auto. They didn't have a pump. So I kept on driving. I hit an O'Reilly's. Eventually, they had the pump. So I bought the pump. I brought it back. I put it in.
Thankfully, they had two. But keep going.
Shut up. No, they don't. So that store only had one.
Okay. Well,
I
anyways.
had to drive.
Okay.
long-
Wait.
yeah.
So, anyways, you put it in.
So I put it in, and I guess there's a pressure bolt.
He guesses.
There's a pressure line that you have to bolt down, and a suction line that you both have to bolt down.
Who knew?
I thought I
Who
bolted
knew? You
them.
bolt them down.
I thought I cranked them enough to where they would seal, and I guess I went out for my first run, and it was like, oh, it's feeling good. Okay, great. So I do that, I do one run, and I'm like, oh, it's starting to feel a little tight again. What the heck's going on? So I just keep running, and I'm like, oh, if it gets worse, I'll check it out. So I do a second run, and like, oh, it locks up again. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I just changed out the pump.
Was it
So-
screaming like a banshee again?
It was screaming like a banshee again.
Gotta be defective.
And it was pouring out.
Gotta be
It was
defective.
pouring out oil again. I'm like, oh shoot! And I crank down those things and I try it, and it stops leaking now, but it won't pump. And I'm sitting, I don't realize it won't pump. I'm like, I just cranked it down. It should be good. I filled it
Should
back
be
up.
good. It was
Should be
running
good.
dry. Should be good.
So I kept on trying to drive it and figure it out, driving it. I'm going around. Everybody's looking like, hey, what's wrong with the car? What's wrong with the car? I'm like, I don't know. So eventually I give up. I go up to hang out with you guys, and then I get pissed off, and then I go back down, and I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. So I watched some videos of some people having the same issue, and a guy had a pump, brand new pump that had the same issue where
That he didn't crank things down and
well,
blew it
he
himself.
didn't say that, but he probably did. But he didn't mention that. But he did mention that, hey, this is how you check it, and if you're having this issue, it could be a pump issue. So I'm like, let me just go grab another pump because I need to return the core anyways. So I'm going to take my old pump. I'm going to take this new pump. I'm going to get this one warranted. I'm going to put the core, give the core back so I can get my core C back. So I grabbed that pump, and it's now 8:00 at night, and I've only drove for
Saturday, right?
No,
Yeah,
you got
Saturday.
quite a few runs before that pump. went.
yeah, but not as many as I wanted. They were telling me to slow down. You're going to blow through all your tires. I'm like, no, I never blow through all my tires. So
Yeah, you're gonna blow through all your pumps.
yeah, I'll blow through all my
you went
pumps.
through more pumps than tires.
Yeah, exactly. I actually did.
You
I
did.
went
Dude,
through an
full
equal
2 pumps.
2 pumps, 2 tires. so hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. But anyways, by 9:30 I have the pump in. I pack everything up. I get everything ready to go, and then I ask you guys. You guys are done. You guys are packing up, and then we go ahead and go get something to eat.
That
But,
took forever. So yeah, 2 pumps.
But that was
2
it.
tires.
2 pumps, 2 tires, and then the next day, it was running great. And then eventually, at the last minute, when I actually started doing tandeming, I tanded a little bit with Sean. Sean did a lot of following with me.
Sean Roxby's,
Yeah, Sean, the vampire.
right?
Edward, isn't it Edwin? What's the?
Patterson.
Yeah. Either way,
Oh, that's
looks
right.
just
Yeah,
like
he
that
does.
guy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Looks just like him.
Yeah.
He should say he is. Just
he get a lot of followers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Patterson drifts. Yeah.
Patterson drifts. Yeah.
But no, he was following me, so I tried to follow him at first, but then I don't really predict how the way he enters, so I entered wrong and I ended up flying like way inside, and if I didn't stop, I would have flew in front of him, and I didn't want to do that. So I'm like, you know what, you just follow me. I've been doing, I can lead. I don't have any issue leading. So I led for about like 4 or 5 runs. He followed me. I started getting wider and wider. He was able to get closer and closer. So that was interesting. And then I hit this part. Now the car cuts spark or something. It sounds like it's being
Like a low rev limit.
it sounds like a
Might be like a limp mode or something.
it's like it sounds like a limo. It's like whoa. Like, it's
Could be.
just, yeah, it just doesn't sound good. Then the engine light comes on, so I don't know.
Well.
So I'm going to run the codes and see what happened. But
All right. Well,
I had fun.
What do you think about the competition?
I didn't watch any of it.
Oh, well, there you go. What do you think, Ben? How did the qualify?
I did watch. Okay, so I did watch the last. I watched the last like the top 8. I watched the top 8.
So you watched half of the show because it was only the
half
top
the-
16.
Yeah, I know exactly. I watched like the top 8. So I thought the battles could have been better. I really thought they were pretty weak, honestly.
oh, hang on. Before we move on to that, let's backtrack a bit. Actually, I do want to mention shout out to Yankee Special. They are in the chat. And
Oh, what's
they're
up?
Going to be seeing us at the first round of the Klutch Kickers
Oh, awesome.
series over
Sweet.
at the Freedom Factory.
Still got my shirts.
Can't wait to meet up again and see what else they've got in store. So,
Yeah, I want to see some of their new designs.
Right.
Hmm.
Doing a lot of good work. But going back to the competition, what are your thoughts on what happened with the 16th spot?
Okay, so
I don't know
okay,
anything
so
about
this
that.
is let me just kind of explain to everybody what happened. And I know Adam Ginkle was kind of upset. I know this bugged him a lot, and I understand why. So see, I like to try to see both sides, right? So maybe I'm a good mediator. I don't know. So
Paul, will be ready because Paul's going to tell you that.
well, he's going to tell me it's stupid either way.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they
it's
had
alright.
they had 18 drivers, but then I think one driver didn't show up or something like that. So they ended up having 17 drivers that actually did their qualifying run. Adam Ginkle got 16th position. Joseph Love got 17th position. So Chris Jackson said he promised everybody a top 32. So instead of obviously doing all those buy runs, before the top 16 competition and before the opening ceremony, they made Adam Ginkle battle Joseph Love for that 16th position. So Adam was pissed because he said, hey, he was a qualified 16th. I shouldn't have to battle
Exactly.
for my 16th position, right?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So he was upset and justifiably so.
Yeah.
But then Chris's decision was, hey, I promised everybody top 32, so we're going to do top 32, but we're just going to have 16th and 17th battle because obviously you can't have. Well, it didn't make sense to do all buy runs. I mean, so that was kind of. I think my personal opinion, they should have just let Adam. I mean, because it's like, why run another battle?
Right.
Like For what? I mean, the poor guy, not only did that happen, but he suffered damage to his car because of it.
Right.
You know, so he ended up exploding his radiator or something and having to get the car ready to go back out and competing in it. And Adam did a great job for probably one of the lowest horsepower cars out there. I mean, I think
well, I don't know. That VQ looks like it has a ton of power.
He's spraying nitrous on it.
Well, he must be spraying like 500 shot because this thing looks like it's got. I mean, yes, he's doing a lot to make it happen.
Yeah, no, but he's definitely one of the least horsepower cars out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, but he did.
I'm just saying, it looks like it.
And he was doing a pretty good job. But like I said, he went through hell and back to complete his battles, right? Because he had a battle before the competition, like right before the competition.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And then have to go
and
then be the first one battling up against whatchamacallit, Bradley Saint Germain. Now, he almost took Bradley Saint Germain out because Bradley was so slow in the chase position. Like it was pretty close to an inactive chase. How far Bradley was behind him, because Bradley
kept on doing that though.
Well, but he would do his first run. His car would go up in temperature because he was the
then
highest qualifier.
You give too much space.
He didn't have the power going out the hole. Like he had,
really?
yeah, that's what he said. He just didn't have. It's like he was already like 230, 240 in the temps, and he said he was just like felt like he had nothing.
Well, probably the ECU would shut
Limit his power. I don't know, but
yeah, it would,
because he would do his first run and it'd be slamming full throttle all the way around by the time he comes back around. So he's got to work on that cooling system for the next round.
Yeah.
So sounds like
he's probably got blown head gasket or something.
No, I don't know. But anyhow, that was kind of weird.
Correct.
What do you think?
No, I had to definitely agree with that because it's out of the norm. You don't really expect that to.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never seen that before.
Right.
Well, the Australians do it that way. They usually put
from down under.
They usually just have the 17th driver battle the 16th driver before.
It's tradition.
It's tradition.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Paul. You're bringing me up to speed on what
the
down
the Aussies. You gotta watch them. They're dangerous.
Right. So no, I pretty much said everything.
Yeah.
And I can't really add anything more to it. It's just sort of, it really just, the only other thing is sort of kind of like, I wouldn't say mess with the flow, but because it was so unexpected, you didn't really, you're like, okay, is it starting already? But you know that it's not really starting already because everyone's expecting an opening ceremony.
Right.
And at the same time, it's like, well, like, I don't even know.
Well, even threw us off, right? Because we wanted to go live, and then now it's throwing the flow of things off, right? Like the drone guys weren't ready because the drone guys weren't planning to go start flying their drones until the opening ceremony.
Correct.
So now here's a battle that the drone guys didn't know about. So they didn't even take their planes off, and then the judge is getting ready for it. And we're like, well, let's try to cover it because people that are tuning in can watch it. So it threw.
Here we have a battle that doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, you can say that.
It's from Australia.
Yeah. So
where the toilets spin backwards.
Yeah, they actually do spin backwards, and their light switches are upside down.
Oh,
yeah. So So we turn our light switch, we flip them up to be on, and down to be off. They flip them down to be on and up to be off. Yeah, I know. Actually, if you get light switches like toggle switches and stuff from Australia, they're reverse. Anyways,
they just don't like doing anything the way we do it.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, drifters.
It's opposite day.
But drifters already they don't like change, right? They're used to competing in a certain order and a certain. So anytime you change that, there's this just everybody freaks out. They lose their minds.
We've witnessed this several times. Like every time we've tried to sort of introduce a sort of different style of judging or different style of point system.
It's like remember we tried it too before.
Remember we tried to do the individual sections judging.
And I think that was a good idea.
I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, I think we should have 5 judges. I think we should. I honestly do because I think we should have a judge that's just watching.
They should judge when they like to, too. Whenever it's up to them, and then the driver has to be ready.
Yeah. No, but I like have a driver just focusing just on the lead car. Driver is just focusing on a drive car or the chase car and score them.
Right.
And then you have your other 3 judges, and then they can, when they're not sure, they can rely on. But it's whatever. But yes, anything change wise, people go crazy because whether it's better or worse. We tried it before, and
we tried that, and
people didn't like it.
They hated us for it.
But
remember?
if you don't,
I remember.
Yeah,
I distinctly remember. They were like, what are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I'm trying to make it as clear and concise as possible. Like this, how is this not like getting through?
Lee Yearwood
It's
was
pretty
pissed.
simple, but
Well, he gets pissed. He gets pissed a lot.
No, but I'm just saying he was pissed when we.
Well, he was pissed this last weekend too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I guess when he was in the chase position, it looked like he straightened out or
I
something.
think there were with Lee. Who was the one that had where the restart light didn't go off?
That was Bradley. That was Bradley.
Oh.
Bradley was going against somebody else, but they allowed them to change tires and go back into the pits.
But that was still.
But at least they let him start it over again. I mean, that's what can you do?
okay. So just an FYI, something crashed over here, so I'm gonna try to like fix it, and it may crash everything else. So
Okay.
but I need it to happen so that way we could try to like pull up some of these battles
Okay,
because I
good.
really want to be able to play some of these battles
Yeah.
to try to give some context
Uh-huh.
in regards to what we're talking about.
Let me talk to Tim about Asbo. I don't know if you heard.
Wait, what?
Did you watch Formula Drift?
No.
Oh, okay. So Asbo accidentally threw Matt Field's car into the wall at
Yes, I did see that.
yes.
Well, so he just got so close when Matt Field transitioned, he
couldn't
couldn't transition.
transition,
So
yeah.
how did that play out after?
Oh, it was not good.
So
I mean, that car's
yeah.
totaled. Like,
yeah.
He bent both frame rails. He's been building a new car now.
Oh wow.
So Asbo was really upset, and yeah, Matt Field was pretty much like, "You, dude."
Yeah, that's
Like,
well.
you-
I mean, but
Well, there was a notable Instagram story where
Yeah.
he shared his frustration through sign language.
Yes. Yeah.
really, also I didn't see the lag.
Yeah.
But so that's okay. I mean, you're trying to get as close as possible, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's where that's what I wanted to talk about. Did want to bring that one up because it's like, how can I mean? Yes, you're going to be upset. It's
Because we've seen
justifiably
Chelsea
if
get so close to the point where they just rub the front of his bumper, take the front of his front bumper off.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what honestly, and even I don't know what happened that caused the hook, but and it didn't even look like it.
It just like he got stuck. They got stuck bumper to bumper
They
for
got
like a split
It
second.
just that's all it took, and then he was munched into that wall.
I know. I saw the accident. I mean, really bad.
It was a really bad accident.
So
It's
wow.
I'm sure Freddie feels pretty bad. I know he looked like he was like on the verge of like emotional.
Yeah.
And he was like, because I mean, yeah, he ruined his. I mean, but what I wanted to say is that they gave Matt Field the win, which I don't think is. I said, I mean, yes, shouldn't have got the win.
Right.
Technically, Asbo should have got the win. You should have faulted Asbo for the crash,
Mm-hmm.
but then if he can't get his car repaired, Asbo should have got the win.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave Matt Field the win.
Was it the first round of the battle?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an interesting point. Why would I mean, it sucks, right? But all that aside, there have been other times where
I'm pretty sure maybe it wasn't the first run, but I'm pretty sure this was.
who was the higher qualifier?
Oh, I don't. Maybe Matt Field.
You have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, but you had a pretty good point though. Like, a lot of these cars have these collapse zones in their car.
Oh, that's another one I was bringing up. Is that I was kept on watching guys put the back of their car up into the rear wheel. Like the rear wheel is almost going to hit the wall.
Mm-hmm.
They're stuffing that much of their back at the end of the call, and they're like, "Oh, wall tap." That's not a wall tap.
No, you just
That is destroying the whole rear section of your car, and just because it's made out of like fiberglass and flexible fiberglass, that it comes back.
yeah,
That shouldn't be allowed.
right. They should run some kind
There should be okay. You have to have this percentage.
You have to have structure.
behind
You should have.
this much structure behind the wheel of your.
Yeah, I think they should go almost to where this OEM bumper structure is. They should, whether it's tubed or it can cave in, but it should be some kind of structure where
It should be a just a standard bolt-on structure.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to bury your whole trunk into the wall and keep going and then be like, oh, wall tap. No, because you way overcooked that. Like
The fact that your tire is almost about to touch, your rear tire is about to touch. That means like look at the freaking 846. Imagine how you got like 2 feet there,
right?
That you crumpled in.
And the guy, as far as say, if the driver that's following him doesn't have that same,
Yeah, if he doesn't
so
have the
he
same
can't
setup,
follow the same line.
no.
That's an interesting thought.
It's not just interesting. It should be a rule book change. They should put an actual, for each car, decide how much
Or get rid of it and just let everybody have like nothing in the back.
Well, right now they can. Everybody can.
Yeah, but not everybody does
Technically,
because
no, they don't. But technically, the rule book says you just have to. You can be cut off from the last suspension point backwards.
right.
So that's what some people do, and some people don't. Which honestly, everybody should have a flimsy back. I mean, Von Gitten's been doing that for years.
Yeah.
He's been doing that for years, and that's the reason he's done so well with
Mm.
tapping walls, because it doesn't matter if he taps the wall; he just taps right off.
Yeah, if he overcooks, it's not a big deal because it all bounces
for
back.
years, people were building these elaborate systems to bounce off the wall.
Yeah,
he just came up like,
yeah,
I'm just not gonna actually hit the wall, but I'm gonna hit the wall
right,
with my flimsy back end.
right. I'm not going to hit it with anything that's solid, right?
Yeah.
How you doing on the?
Not good. Even worse. So
Oh,
we're
really?
just gonna carry on.
Okay.
Are we gonna crash the? I mean,
Are we crashing into the wall? Did we not read? Oh man, we got to build a subframe.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're crashing.
People
and
can
we're
still
gonna
see us?
crash. It's good. Yeah. It's like I can see the wall coming. There's no other way around it. We're just in it for the ride. So let's just roll with
Well, you
it.
want to end
until
it?
It actually crashes.
We could just end it.
We could just end it.
Yeah.
You want to end it?
Well, I mean, there's some things that went down that I really want to go over.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
let's go over it.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that we can't like pull up what happened with the call that was overturned. With,
At the U.S. Drift
I think
Circuit?
it was Douglas Santana against
Sasha. Was it Sasha? No, Douglas Santana and
Eric Nogueira.
yes, Eric Nogueira.
Right.
Well, I mean, can we
How was that
go down,
overturned?
reboot, and go back on? No.
No, because it would just start a whole new thing. So I'd rather just.
Okay, so they there was a battle between those two drivers, and I kept getting one was like a baby blue E46, and the other one was a burgundy vet that had, I think it had Fusera on the side.
Yes. Yeah. It's Eric Nogueira.
Yeah, so they went out and they battled. I can't remember the battle off the top of my head, but the call got challenged and it got reversed.
Right.
And then once it got reversed, it got challenged again to try to reverse it. So it really didn't make any sense. U.S. Drift Circuit has to put in some protest protocols, something more clear. I think there was some confusion there. But that was a protest. Actually, when Steve-O and me were on the thing, I think Steve-O was like questioning the protest. He was like, well, I don't really know why they protest, but they ended up reversing it.
Right.
So protest is a valid tool for the drivers. I just, unfortunately, I don't remember exactly what was the issue and where the protest was. Like, where did they find the evidence that would cause a flip of the decision?
There was, if I recall correctly, on the bank, and obviously the first section, they noticed that the Corvette had sort of straightened out the wheels,
Mm-hmm.
and that led to like a major correction in their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where sort of kind of like reversed the roles in regards to their decision.
Yeah. Coming off that bank, what I noticed, a lot of cars being covered in the smoke hide some pretty big mistakes.
Right.
And I think that's where, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I think that's where Lee Yearwood got his loss, or why they didn't judge in his favor. I think they saw him straighten there, or look like it was straightened, but
Okay.
it's hard because you're coming off the bank and your car's covered in the smoke. So if you make a major correction, sometimes the judge can't see it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and skip over to that.
Okay.
And based on what I read on the comments, because Liebert put up a post on Instagram talking about it,
Mhm.
that he felt that he was strongly disagreed with the call,
Mhm.
and he used a screenshot from the live stream itself, where it shows him on the final section displaying like a significant gap between him and Billy Mitchell, who was chasing. And the problem that I felt with that is sort of that was not necessarily being truthful to what actually transpired
Mhm.
with that call. And after reading what the Kelsey and Patrick Gooden said in the comments, I have a better understanding now of what
They replied
transpired.
to it. Okay.
So essentially, what happened was they zeroed out both of their chase runs.
Okay.
Because if you recall, Billy Mitchell on his chase run on the first turn going into the first
Yes.
section,
Yep. I remember.
he's sort of I want to call
like
it straightened out, but maybe
initiation,
double
yeah.
initiated,
Mhm.
and it really kind of like screwed things up onto the first turn.
Right.
So they zeroed him out for that. When Lee Yearwood went into that first section,
Mhm.
he started off fine, but all of a sudden it seemed as though he got caught up in the smoke and he made a major mistake getting close to like the exit of the bank.
Right.
And then in doing so, the judges deemed that a 0.
Okay.
Now going back to the Formula Drift judging criteria, which they are following, they're not necessarily coming up with their own judging criteria, utilizing U.S. Drift Circuit's criteria. They're utilizing Formula Drift's judging criteria. And it stated that if both of the chase runs lead to 0, they can utilize the lead runs as a decider.
Okay.
And then when you play back both of the lead runs, you could definitely tell that I mean, in my point of view, Billy Mitchell did a better job at the lead run compared to Lee Yearwood.
Okay.
And in particular, you'll notice the main difference when coming into the 2 inner clips.
Yes.
Whereby Billy Mitchell hits the inner clips within the marked areas, unlike Lee Yearwood, who happens to kind of like swing wide and miss those 2 inner clips.
Yep, I remember that.
And so in doing so, that's where the judges deemed the victory over to Billy Mitchell.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. So they basically zeroed out the chase runs and left it up to the lead runs to make. And I think that's fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What do you think?
No, I think that was fair too. I just think that based on the responses that at the time that the decision was made, I mean, I don't even know. Like it was pretty well communicated.
Well, we were there though with the judges, so I
Right.
think it made more sense to us.
But they got onto the
Comment.
microphone on the mic to
Right.
explain what happened.
Kelsey did a great job of doing that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that people weren't necessarily receptive to the whole notion of the judges using the Formula Drift judging criteria.
Right.
So I just think that, in my opinion, if you already have issues with the way how Formula Drift judges their battles,
Right.
you're gonna have issues
right.
with how U.S. Drift Circuit and their judges are gonna judge their battles.
But they have to do it that way because what is this? This isn't Klutch Kickers. It's a Pro-Am licensing series.
Right.
So the whole idea that you're gonna have to utilize the Formula Drift protocols, because that's what these drivers are going to have to deal with when they do get their pro spec license or Pro-Am license and they start to compete at the Formula Drift level. So they need that consistency. I mean, how did the comments go after Pat Gooden and Kelsey weighed in on the comments? Did they be like, okay, that makes sense, or were they still like, you guys are the worst judges ever?
I kept on seeing the worst judges ever.
Yeah, but we see that at Klutch Kickers too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Slight correction. I said Chelsea instead of Kelsey.
No.
Oops, my apologies. Going back, Carrie,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So I mean, did you look at the comments after they replied?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That the majority, the general consensus, they were just not happy with it. They just felt that it should have gone on one more time.
Okay.
And yes, you could argue with that, but at the same time, you can't forget that if you could argue that they didn't do. They didn't do enough to convey the message that, hey, we're using Formula Drift's judging criteria.
Right.
You could argue that, but at the same time, they stated it.
Right.
And they
Right.
announced the reasoning why they came to the decision.
Right.
So I just think that at this point, really, there's nothing else left to argue.
No, I thought it was so. Like I said, we were up in the booth and we were able to hear the judges and the reasoning behind their calls. I spoke to Rich the Burger Burr,
Right.
and him and a couple other people, and watching it live, they were saying the judging was pretty spot on, and I didn't really see anything to question. I guess that would be one, but when you, like you said, when you say we zero out the chase runs, Billy Mitchell was on those clips better, and that was something that I saw Lee Yearwood doing quite often, was going way out those 2 inside clips, missing them completely, right? So if you look at lead run versus lead run, even if they were almost identical on the banks, it comes down to those 2 inside clips, which are right in the judges' faces with the camera angle and the view. They could see exactly how close they are to those clips. It's kind of like, yeah, man, Billy Mitchell takes the win.
Right.
I didn't see any. Was there any other calls that people were like really, aside from, Admin having to battle it out, but that wasn't so much a judging call. That was more of a, I don't know, some other call you want to call, but it wasn't according to judges. But as far as all the other calls, I think they went pretty clear. I thought they were.
Paul, you saw top 8 to the finish, right?
Yeah.
Did you disagree with any of the calls?
I don't know if I disagree with any of the calls. I don't think so. I don't think I disagree. I think there was one more time that I was like, nah, I think you're just doing that because you wanted to. There was one more time.
Yeah,
right?
Duarte and Savio.
There were a couple.
Oh yeah,
There
yeah,
was-
Duarte and Savio, and who else?
And then you had another one with Ryan Acevedo and Lee Yearwood.
That's
Yes,
the one. That's the one I didn't think was necessary. I think that's the one I didn't think was necessary.
To watch it again.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was kind of mediocre. I didn't think the driving was that great. At least the tandeming was that great. I'm not saying their driving was bad. I'm just saying when you watched it, there really wasn't that great of tandems. It seemed like a lot of people were on their own lines. Not too many of them were using the same line or following the other person's line. It looked like a lot of people were just getting through it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just completing the course.
You're just trying to complete the course and get as close to the other car as they can. The Brandon McDowell Ryan one looked great, so that was fine. But other than that, I really didn't have anything that really jumped out at me.
How about you, Tim? Anything that stood out to you?
I thought watching the top 16 unfold, Jay Martirana with Jay the Drifter, the 13-year-old kid. I thought that first battle, even though it was a wash because they had to restart, was probably one of my favorite battles. I thought, and I forget who he was going against. I think he was going against Lee Yearwood, and that battle was really good. Jay did a great job. Unfortunately, he's still young, still has some things to work out. And I think he missed a gear when he was leading, and that caused him to take the loss over Lee Yearwood. Lee Yearwood did a great job. I was really impressed. I think most with Lee Yearwood, how he was able to handle that slow up by Jay, and be able to get right in the pocket. Like, it didn't look like it phased him at all in the chase position. So that was probably one of the highlights as far as battles that I can think about and walk away with and say, oh wow, that was cool to watch. Was the Jay versus Lee Yearwood battle. Other than that, I think the Ryan Acevedo and Brandon McDowell. I mean, Brandon McDowell was what a line he was throwing down.
Right.
He was doing an excellent job, high on the wall. It was definitely looked like it was a pro line. It was a pro run for sure. So I'm really seeing Brandon McDowell. So it's going to be interesting because I think Brandon McDowell's ever driven Sebring. I don't think so. So it's going to be a different layout. So we'll see how he does with that because
that's if he runs it because he didn't. He's not in the season pass.
He's not in a season pass.
Correct.
Well, but I think there's only 10, 11 drivers that are in a season pass.
As far as I recall, 11. Yeah.
I have but he finished top, and I know he wants his pro license. I think he'll.
Yeah,
pro license. He does have pro. Oh,
yeah.
Does he have his pro license?
I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
He got it in 3 Palms.
Did he? Yeah, but he hasn't competed though. You have to get it again if you don't compete.
Oh, right. Really? Well, maybe.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I don't know. We'll see. But going back to what I was saying, so we'll see how he does at Sebring. But I definitely see him, if he completes the season, finishing in the top 3.
One thing that I did want to mention that stood out to me was the speed difference between Billy Mitchell and Brad St. Germain.
Yes.
Because you remember how Billy Mitchell struggled to follow Brad.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the roles reversed, you could see the setup was just completely just different.
Right, Brad. That's the thing that Brad's going to have to figure out with his car, whether it's trying to dial in more mechanical grip, because I think he runs like 265s or I don't know. He runs a decently wide tire in the rear.
Right.
He's got a stroker. I think he's putting around 650 or something.
How much horsepower he has? That's pretty.
I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. Maybe he's on 285s.
Pretty small. Yeah.
Maybe he's on 285s. I don't know. I don't remember what he's on. I know that I think he's pushing around like 650. And, the car definitely has the power, and he definitely has the lead foot for it because he's all full throttle. That's why he got first place in qualifying. Mm-hmm. That full throttle commitment, I just over and over heard the judges talking about that.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up, and not necessarily involves the competition, is mostly in regards to like the setup. I did want to mention how we try to get the best angles to kind of go over everything and not only give the spectators a good viewpoint of what some of the the key parts of the action, but I think a main focus that we took notice of is the is for the judges,
Right.
in the sense that at first we had a camera in the infield on one side to try to get that particular angle, but we noticed that when it came down to the inside clipping points, that even if you were up on the platform, that overhead camera point, it just was getting smoked out. You wouldn't get a clear shot of how close the drivers would get into that those inner clips. And luckily, we were able to actually work out a way to get it from the opposite end where the start line was at. And that led to a much better coverage of what was taking place on the course.
Were people complaining about the camera angles?
No.
Oh.
I just wanted to highlight that.
Oh, right.
And just mention that it's we didn't just like throw cameras wherever we could.
Right.
We just took the time to really kind of think about like, okay, well, how can we make it look good and cover the action, but also at the same time benefit the judges to try to make them have the best possible angles to be able to judge accordingly.
Right.
Because oftentimes they will miss something or the camera will miss something, and then it could lead to like a major decision that could lead to be something controversial.
Yeah, I mean, there was several times like Ben, you were over and over again running back replays for the judges, right? I remember there's several times like Pat was like, "Hey, can you give us a drone footage on this?" And then you have to, get it ready and send it back to them. You did a great job with that, being able to handle that. Like I said, that was our first competition live stream where Ben was in complete control at the helm, and it was all a group effort trying to find camera angles. Thanks to Gabby and Diana running the camera all day long. And I think it came out great.
You ran the camera for qualifying.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, running. Yeah, yeah. But
But
what I'm saying is, it was a group effort.
Right.
And we pulled together. I think first live stream for U.S. Drift Circuit, I think went off really well. We know where we lacked, and we know where we need to improve. But it's doing phenomenal on the YouTubers. Right? He's got 10,000 views on it already.
At least on the competition video.
So that's what we were used to before. U.S. Drift Circuit events maybe getting like 200 views, right?
Right, give or take.
Right.
11,000.
11,000 views. There you go. So I think we did a great job, and we got comments. I think Nick Ward, Taxi Garage, reached out to us and was telling us how good it was. I don't think we had any part where it was. I think maybe one time where I think that the Gabby's camera kind of like pixelated out, but but other than that, like technically wise, I think it was great.
There were a couple of issues, and I'll admit to it. There was some of them it was out of our hands, and there were some that was sort of just wasn't ready on time. But I will say that it's getting worked on, and we're looking at kind of like we know where we went wrong, because one of the things that we do, and I guess some people find it a surprise, and it's just that we actually what I do is I rewatch the whole live stream.
Yeah, I did too.
From beginning to end, and just to try to like get notes as to like, okay, well, this could have been better, or this was fine, this is good, and then see what we can improve upon. And there's just small things here and there, like having a graphic displaying like, oh, this is a replay, playing as we're going back 5 runs back because of a protest that was taking place.
Yeah.
So there's small things like that I'm aware of that we need to work on. And other than that, and then trying to figure out now is the challenge of trying to see how we're going to set up for if we do Sebring.
Yeah, if we do Sebring, how we're going to set up and where we're going to set up.
I know which track he's going to do.
He's doing both.
He's doing both.
Yeah,
the same day.
Well, on the Holy Shift, he's doing a competition on turn 17. I think is that turn 17.
I think so.
And then on the second day, the competition's going to be on turn 14 and 15 back.
Yeah, but on the next one, what is he going to do?
You mean the one where it's just I don't know what part of the track? I think he should use the back, because that's what. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
But we were talking about renting an RV, and then just we could set up the RV right in the middle of the track or anywhere. Have the judges sit in the front seats, put a chair in between because a lot of those RVs are big in the front.
Yeah.
And then that way Ben can be in the back running everything, and we can announce from the cameras, right, watching the monitors, and then put a monitor up front so the judges, and that way we're all, and then the drone guys could be right next to us under a canopy, and we'd be all self-sufficient. If somebody wants to get something to drink, run to the bathroom, they don't have to go all the way across the track like they did at OSW.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right.
But that's a logistic thing that we're gonna have to work.
Tiny bathroom.
Yeah. That's a logistic thing we're gonna have to work out, and I know Chris is trying to figure something out as well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But like you said, if we do it, we don't know yet.
Who knows? I mean, I've heard complaints.
Yeah,
Obviously,
several
it wasn't
complaints.
perfect.
several complaints. Yes, several complaints. Yeah. So, but anyways, what can you do?
Right. No, but I just want to, thank the whole group. Everybody really.
Thank the judges.
Came through. Yeah.
Jeff
that's-
Abbott.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff Abbott, Kelsey Rawlings, Passionate Pat Gooden.
Right.
I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with that.
Mhm.
And they were very.
It was funny how camera shy Kelsey was.
Oh.
Like she was like, "There's no camera on me. There's no camera," and then she would like duck down. We're like, "The camera's not on us." She would duck down behind me and Steve-O, like so, just in case she wasn't on the camera because she had to walk by us to go to get a drink or anything like that. I thought that was hilarious.
That was funny.
Yeah.
But I did want to mention it, and I don't think it gets said enough that or mention at all that really like it's easy to sort of jump on the judges for their decision.
Oh yeah.
But you may not be aware of how much care and attention and thought process they put into the decision.
Right.
It's not like they went and really just, I mean, sure, with some of them it's easy. Like if they spin out, I mean,
Right.
you're
It's a
just
given.
handing off the win to your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get into some close battles, they're really taking the time to review everything, and you saw it in the live stream itself, where we replayed some of the replays often, many times over,
Right.
and that should be an indicator that hey, like these guys really care about what they decide on. It's not like they're trying to play favorites or take bribes or anything of that nature.
Right.
They're really adamant about and about what the decisions they make.
Yeah, and
because they know the implications.
Right. And then every time you were doing the replays, the replays were basically for the judges. So if you saw replays over and over again on a live stream, maybe some more replays than others, it's because the judges were looking at it, right? Or were you sending them separate replays than what was on the screen?
No.
Okay.
Like you said, like every replay that was played on the live stream was the intention was to show it to them because they were getting a feed of the live stream to them directly.
Right.
So when all the things that people were watching on the live stream, they were watching as well.
Okay.
So
That's good.
really, there's all of the viewpoints that people could use to sort of judge on their own. It was the same thing with the judges. The extra benefit, of course, the judges were there, so they had the extra angle of seeing the runs with their own eyes.
Well, and so that's the thing is what I noticed the judges were watching it live first.
Correct.
They were using the live, just watching it live to make their initial judging, and then they would have you rewind it back and then analyze and see where they can slow down and nitpick. It's going to be interesting how that plays in Sebring because what was great about OSW is that we were so high up you could look down on the action.
Correct.
With Sebring, it depends. I don't know. Well, it's going to be really interesting because it's flat. There's really not much elevation there to where we can get up higher and get a better viewpoint.
Hard to see everything.
Yeah, because it's very linear, so you're looking at everything in front of you, so you can't have the depth. So the drones are going to play a key role in Sebring.
And shout out to Flyday FPV.
Oh my God, yeah, poor guy. He was so burnt. Yeah, I promised him I'll make sure I have a tent. I'll make sure we bring it. We got to take care of him next time. So that poor guy was out. He was burnt.
Yeah,
because he tried to set himself up under the tent for that day, but the tent was too far away. We couldn't plug in. So then they had to pack everything up last minute and come over to the other side of the track. And then they didn't have time to bring the tent and everything set it up. So they basically just sat and roasted in the sun for 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. You look like you're falling out.
Me?
Yeah.
I am tired.
Yeah, his head's blue.
No, I'm doing that because of my neck.
Oh, my neck.
Well, it seems like that mud coffee wasn't
Yeah.
up to par.
No, coffee doesn't do anything for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like a nighttime
What
to
about
have it.
the Banshee power steering pump? Would that do something?
Yeah,
it
he
would
was
do
shaking. I mean, he was beat. That
freaking-
that power steering pump.
Well, taking it out. Well, so it's not like to take out the power steering pump, you got to take out the whole fan assembly. You have to loosen all the pulleys, take out the whole belt. So I did that a couple times. So now I'm a pro. So
Well, it's good to know.
I can swap out a thing like that, like that.
Just also want to give another shout out because I got word that Zachary Poloff is in the chat.
Oh,
awesome.
Tight work. Good to see him. We look forward to see him soon. We're gonna see him in a couple weeks.
Right. And I'm
How's that vet?
Yes, that's what I was
He's
going to
going-
bring
he's
up. I'm
going-
so curious
It
to
looks
see
like
how
he's.
that vet
It looks
is
like he's
gonna
going to test it tomorrow at Five
Five
Flags.
Flags, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I just loaded it up.
well, we expect to see some videos.
Well, he has a YouTube channel. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he
he's-
does, but I'm saying hopefully he's gonna post that up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, it's
Win, lose, or draw. You gotta crash or fail. You gotta post it.
right. But it's great to see the progress of that build because
Yeah.
he got the car and we're like, okay, well, he has a good daily driver. He's talked about getting a Corvette again. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm tearing it apart. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what? What
Yeah.
happened here?
Yeah.
And then it turns out he's renting it out for the drivers that don't have the opportunity to have a car to compete with.
Mm.
And now here's an opportunity.
He did
for-
that really quick, man.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I watched the video where he did the startup. He's sitting in a car and just like he had like the grin of like a 10-year-old on Christmas Day. Like, rubbing it. So it's funny. It was good.
So I'm curious to see how that car is going to shred.
Looks
at,
really cool.
Klutch Kickers Freedom Factory.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see who's going to pilot.
Yeah,
it.
who's the first person to rent it? That's what I want to know.
Somebody, I think it's rented for the whole season.
Really?
I think so.
I don't know.
Maybe
That's what he was
not.
saying.
That may be misinformation. I'm full of
Yeah,
misinformation.
there you go.
Well, that's fine.
Santa Monica, California.
That was your fault.
That's not my
It
fault.
was your fault. You
You
screwed
should
up the
know where-
order. You screwed up the order
You
with
should
where they're
know
from
where
and the whole
these
list.
people live. Come on.
Oh man.
He says he has some GoPros ready. So
There you go.
He'll
Cool.
be filming
Sweet.
some content. So be sure to check out Zach's YouTube channel or on. Well, it's either. I mean, I'm sure it's either going to be posted on the Klutch Kickers channel or on the YouTube channel,
Or both.
or both, or both.
Mhm.
So we're looking forward to that. We're also looking forward to. Oh wait, Josh Stewart for round one. That's
Okay. All right.
Who's going to be running the car?
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Josh Stewart.
good deal. Hmm.
I'm curious to see how that goes. But let's go ahead and start winding down. I do, again, want to mention that any drivers that want to get a simulated experience as to what to expect for round one,
Mm-hmm.
they could go to clutchkickers.com and on the Settle Mods page, they could find the round one layout.
What'd you think?
What do
You've
I
been
think?
driving.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Paul. Actually,
There we go.
I did want to mention some of the notes I had. It's going to be interesting going into the bank, obviously. It just seems like there's a little pocket as soon as you enter in, like
Yeah.
going left. But they did mention, Alec Hohnadell mentioned that it may be one of those things where like you don't necessarily have to ride it all the whole way, but we'll see how that goes. We still don't know the judging criteria, so...
Are you saying there's a pocket like you can get trapped there? If you go
It
too far
seems
out?
that way. It
Oh.
seems like it sort of kind of like digs in and then it kind of smooths out. It's hard to describe, but that's sort of like the way how I kind of like interpret it. Like you could kind of like, again, depends on the car you have and how you have it set up, but you could go into it where like you don't necessarily like ride the wall right off the bat. You kind of like ride up to it.
Yeah.
In the same sense that, like, on the first, on the Klutch Kickers track, Emerald Coast Dragway, you remember how, like, people wouldn't necessarily kind of ride the outside? They would
Right.
kind of, like, push themselves out
They almost
to hit the outer zone, the climping point.
yeah, they would almost apex the early apex the turn.
Exactly. So that's kind of like the same sense that I got out of that. The other interesting part that I felt is going to be key is coming off the bank, because when you come off the bank, the bump is serious in the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty serious. Now, my question is that how are people going to set up the cars to deal with that?
Handle that.
Because you obviously want it to be soft to be able to absorb some of it,
Right.
but you don't want it to be too soft because Usually, I wanted to ask you guys is usually when you soften up the suspension,
Gets grippier.
it gets grippier.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, all right, so then you don't want to be too soft because then next thing you know, you'd be like a low rider or something or a
Yeah.
donk.
I always run really soft. I've just always gotten a habit of. I mean, it just my E30 was real soft in the rear,
Right.
so I've kind of used to it. Just to try to, because it wasn't competing, right? And I would be driving different tracks, and I just figured a softer setup would set me up just in case I'm going over a rough track or I get off course a little bit.
Okay.
It's gonna be more forgiving. So I've always kind of set my car up like pretty soft.
So then there lies the question as to like how do you approach that section, that outer zone section, whereby you got to ask yourself, do you use the momentum that you built coming off the bank to kind of like glide you through that outer section, or do you kind of try to like set yourself up early and then push out with the throttle to get yourself through that outer
I
section?
mean, are you going over the bump through transition, or are you full sideways going through it? I have no idea.
You're going sideways going through the bump.
And how soon is the transition after that bump?
It's pretty quick,
Okay.
I would say.
So you almost feel like you got to be like kind of letting off as you go over the bump to set yourself up for that transition right after.
Possibly that's one way to kind of go at it. But,
I have to see it.
But then but like I said, there lies the question, like how do you approach it? Do you like again like use the momentum to kind of like have you go through the bump and then go to the outer section, or do you just power through to get through all of that?
Right.
So that's that. I'm curious to see how they're gonna take that. And then the other major takeaway that I feel is gonna be a major point of contention, or it could be a decider as to like what happens, is the final outer section.
Okay.
In the sense that, remember how like in the touch and go, you would warning people like, hey, people need to be careful not to follow too close, because when the transition occurs, the person in front has the right of way.
Exactly.
And if you're in the chase position and you make contact,
right.
I mean, it's your fault.
Right. You put yourself in a bad position.
Correct. And so that's where I feel that's what's going to happen again, whereby you're going into it, going left,
okay,
right from that infield. So
you're switching.
If you're chasing, I mean, if you're leading, you could do several things there to kind of throw them off. You could either ride the angle really wide, really extreme to kind of throw them off,
right?
Delay your
transition,
yeah.
Or you could be quick about it and then take off again.
Try to pull away from the
right. So
you could be like heavy angle into the left, and then when you get flick back shallow angle and try to use that shallow angle to pull away. So you throw them off by the slow up of the heavy angle going into that transition. But once you transition into a milder angle and then full throttle, you can pull away if the other guy's not ready for that. But interesting. I haven't really seen it. So
I will say I commend Zach for his layout. I will say it was not an easy approach to deal with. And it took me a bit to find my rhythm into the course. And if I found it to be quite a challenge on the virtual setting, I can't imagine what's it going to be in the reality setting.
Yeah, I wonder how many cars are going to go into those little K-rails.
And we're going to see what a difference it's going to be for these drivers going from Emerald Coast Dragway, driving that track over and over and over, and how dialed those drivers were. And now watching them battle, are we going to see the same? Because we saw a lot of great battles. Klutch Kickers, Emerald Coast Dragway, there was some ridiculous battles over and over again every event.
Adam LC
are we going to see that
every season he was gaining more and more traction.
Yeah, so we're going to see that same performance out of all the drivers on this course. We'll see.
And one key takeaway from it is how quickly are these drivers going to adapt to then take advantage of what they learn.
Right.
Because there could be drivers that struggle throughout the whole weekend and they can't get it, then they're going to just
have to wait till next season.
Or just eliminate themselves.
Right.
Because they just couldn't get a good handle of it.
Yeah.
While some other drivers could just quickly get on it and just really...
Right.
Go up the ladder.
Because Emerald Coast had fun days. They're running the same layout. People had the opportunity to practice that track over and over and over again. This one, each round's going to be different. So
Indeed.
I think it's a great thing. I really do.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be it for us. Actually, we are 2 weeks away from
From
Klutch
Klutch Kickers.
Kickers $100,000 Drift Series Season 3 happening at the Freedom Factory. Like I mentioned earlier, folks, get your tickets over at I think the just go to Cletus's website. I'm sure you can find a Freedom Factory. Get your tickets to if you want to be there in person, or get your tickets if you want to check out the pay-per-view. That's going to be live streamed. Hotel accommodations can be found at the clutchkickers.com website, or if you follow the social media channels, you could get information on that.
And if you're a driver, you still have time.
Right, exactly. There's still 11 spots available. We're at 69 right now, a very nice number. And if you want a shot at I think $20,000 or $25,000, I don't know, a significant amount of cash, a fat check to be written out in your name. If you want that opportunity, well, you got it. No other series, I believe, is doing anything like this in the state of Florida. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah.
No other series can you get these? Can you get this level of competition either?
And the level of the price as well, right? The prize money.
Said, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we will not be doing a show 2
Nope.
weeks from now. We will instead be doing the Klutch Kickers show, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
So we'll be up in the booth, and we hope you enjoy this episode, and we hope you enjoy the live stream that's gonna take place.
Yes,
And
indeed.
we hope to see you there. I'm gonna go ahead and crash this program because that's it. It's gone on for too long.
Yep.
So
We're hitting the
until
wall.
next time, folks.